Welcome to our ultimate guide to the 25 best farms in Minecraft Java Edition. These are the full tutorials to some very popular farms. Everything from iron to gold and even duplication glitches, this video has it all. Now, these aren't the best farms in the game, but rather the best for everyday people like you who don't need a trillion items an hour. With that, here's a detailed breakdown of what farms we're showing today. If you want to go to a specific tutorial, just check the timeline and you can find it down there. I hate XP farms in Minecraft. They're confusing, complicated, and annoying, so I made it my goal to design an easy fix. This is the easiest XP farm in Minecraft Java 1.21+. Despite its simplicity, in 1 minute I got 25 levels, in 5 minutes 48 levels, and in just 10 minutes I got 65 levels. With that, here's a materials list. If you enjoy, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. As well, you could download this exact world down in the description. Now, the first thing you want to do for this farm is dig out a 3x3 hole in the ground. Break 1 block to any one of the 4 sides, and then opposite of that, you're going to want to break 3 blocks like that. Now, what you actually want to do is place a temporary... Can you move? Place a temporary block somewhere on the side, and then place a slab right there in the middle, so there's a half block underneath it like that. And then you want to place a campfire on top of it, and right-click it with a shovel to put it out. That's okay. We can light this with a flint and steel to get it back going later. Now, what you're going to want to do is place a piece of scaffolding right there, and a stair facing in that direction, doesn't matter what type of stair it is. Now, on top of the scaffolding, you want to shift and place down a trapdoor, and then facing in this direction, you want to place another trapdoor on that one, and then go ahead and open it up like this, and this ensures that all of these silverfish are not going to be able to escape the farm and kill you. Now, what you want to do is come over here and place down a bucket of water like that, so no matter where they sit, they will all eventually get pushed towards this scaffolding, so we can go ahead and kill them. Now, the next thing we're going to do is make a nice little box around this. I'm going to use glass and make it 2 blocks tall, but you can do whatever you want with this, doesn't really matter. Now, from here, what you want to do is on the top of this block, you want to place down 4 slabs just like that. And then you want to go to the top of this block and you want to place down 4 more slabs like this. So there should be a half block gap between these. And so far, it should be looking something like this. Now, the next thing we're going to do is put a roof over top of this. Again, this can be any material that you want, but for now, leave this middle block open as we're going to be getting our armadillos inside of here now. Now, if you're wondering, armadillos can be found in savanna biomes and they can be attracted towards you with spider eyes. So what you want to do is take all of your armadillos and get them inside of there. However, getting more than 2 armadillos is really hard to do, and obviously the more armadillos you have, the better the farm is going to be, the more efficient. And you can have a maximum of 24 armadillos in here. To breed them, all you have to do is right-click them with some spider eyes. That is what they need to breed. As you're going to see, they'll create a baby eventually, and this ensures that they will never despawn. You're not going to name these guys because we did breed them. Now again, do this for however long you want. I would recommend getting the maximum 24, but even if you have like 5 or 6, this farm is plenty efficient. Okay, there we go. I've gotten all my armadillos inside of here, and most of them are grown up. Now what you want to do is give them a way to get out, and then just make a staircase up, and then take some spider eyes. This is funny. You want to lead all of them and just kind of shove them inside of this hole. Doesn't really matter how they get there as long as you're able to push them in. Now, as you can see, they don't want to go in on their own, so if you want to make it easier, you can place an open trap door, and now all the armadillos are going to walk in. Just keep working with them, and eventually you'll be able to get them all inside. Additionally, it could be easier to breed them inside of the hole instead of trying to do what I'm doing right now, but this is pretty fun, so I'd recommend you guys do it. Now as well, you could also use a dead coral fan here instead of a trap door so they can't walk on the trap door. Just makes your life a little easier, but again, it doesn't have to be like this. This is completely optional. Okay, there we go, getting close to done. If you guys are wondering, if you have any more than 24, so if you have 25 armadillos in here, that is going to hit the armadillo cap, or I guess just the regular mob cap of 25, and they're all going to start to die, so make sure not to do that. But now that we've got all of them inside of there, you can just go ahead and place a block on the top and cover it up. And now the final thing we need to do is scare these guys so they curl up in their shells and take a lot less damage. And to do that, we're going to need to get ourselves a zombie. Now, right before we do that though, something I'm going to have you guys do is just break any extra blocks that you have in the area. As well, you're going to want to go to any side. It doesn't really matter where, just make sure you're not right next to the water here. So I'll pick right here, that'll be fine. You want to dig down a small hole, and then again, if you want to put a trapdoor or something here, to make your life easier in getting the zombie inside, that totally works as well. But I'm the best, so I'm just gonna punch the zombie in. Now, one thing while you're getting the zombie over to your farm, make sure you have a name tag so he does not despawn. Now I'm gonna get him near this area and then just figure out how to punch him in. Perfect. Chuck a name tag over top of him, and then you can go ahead and cover him up. And there you go. Now, as you can see, all of these guys are inside of their shells. And when we light this campfire, they are never going to die. Okay, I lied. There's one more really small step. Go ahead and break any one of these side blocks and then replace it with a trapdoor facing in that direction like that. So then when you open it up, you can light the campfire, put the campfire out, and throw the infestation potion. But when the farm is actually running, you can just close that so none of the silverfish are able to escape. With that, we can now go ahead and use the farm. So open up the trapdoor, throw the infested potion onto them, and then light that with a flint and steel and close it. And as you'll see, a ton of silverfish come flowing out of here. Now, if this wasn't here, they could escape. And if this is open, they can also escape, as you can see. So make sure that both of those are properly done. But as you can see now, you're going to run over here and you want to have the best sword possible. That should be sharpness, and sweeping edge is very important, but not necessary. And then you literally just smack him and all of that XP comes flooding out of this farm, and it is so unbelievably efficient. This gold XP farm will produce a ton of loot, a ton of XP, is super easily expandable and super easy to build. I really don't know what more you could ask for. With that, here's everything that you'll need to build the farm, and if you want to download this world, you can find that down in the description. Now, as for the building location on this farm, you want to make sure you're anywhere in a nether wastes biome, and that's because, as you see behind me, there's a ton of zombie piglins spawning at this level. Make sure you're in a nether wastes. If you're not sure where that is or what it looks like, you can hit F3 and you're going to see the biome right here as well. Now, from here, what we need to do is get up to the nether roof, and this is going to give us the best possible rates of this farm. So to do this, what you want to do is, again, make sure you're in a nether wastes, and then make a staircase going all the way up to the very top layer of bedrock. Make sure you're not being followed. All the way up to the very top layer of bedrock. When you hit F3, you want to make sure that your targeted block is at Y level 127. Now, make sure you have obsidian and a flint and steel so you can get back down and you don't get stuck up there. But it's pretty simple. Just place some ladders, climb up there, and then take an ender pearl and just throw it into the corner. And boom, you are now above the nether roof. Place a block if you want to remember where that is. And now all you need to do is build a nice little nether portal up here. Again, just to actually be able to get up and down from the farm. So perfect, there you go, you're up here. And again, if you want to make sure you're in a nether wastes, the sky should be this like bright red color, orange, whatever this is. Make sure the sky looks like this, and now we can actually get started on building the farm. Now, if we were to build the farm at this level, all of the mobs down here are going to be slowing down the rates. So what we need to do is go as high up as possible. To do this, you can either take some blocks and ladders or just take a bunch of scaffolding. And you just want to place it down all the way until you get up to the very top of the world. Now, it should be saying the height limit for building is 255. That's how you know you've reached the top, and then you can go ahead and climb all the way up. Okay, so this farm's going to be built in 3 separate steps. The first one is going to be building the layers that the zombie piglin actually spawn on. The second one is going to be placing some slabs to make sure no magma cubes or ghasts can spawn. And the third one is going to be the killing layer where we're actually going to kill all of them. And we're going to start off with placing down all of our magma blocks to get the zombie piglin to spawn. So we need to place down a bunch of magma blocks, but as you guys know, in survival, you're going to take damage. To prevent that, you can crouch. However, holding down crouch the entire time, it's a lot and it's very, very difficult. It hurts your finger. So what you can do is go into options, controls, and then change sneak from hold onto toggle. And then you can just click it once and now you're going to be crouching forever. This will make the whole process a whole lot easier. As well, as you can see, we're standing at Y level 256. We actually want to be at Y 253. So break down 1, 2, 3 pieces of scaffolding there. And now we can get started on the first layer, which is going to start with a temporary block out to any side. Now, from there, what you want to do is go 1, 2, and then place down a magma block and do that to all of the sides. So 1, 2 magma block. Come over here, 1, 2 magma block, and then the scaffolding counts as 1. So that's 1, 2, and then a magma block there. Now you should have a kind of like an invisible 5x5 square of these magma blocks. this is going to be the center. So this is where all of the piglin are going to fall down. Now from all of these magma blocks, what you want to do is count out another 8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You should now have 9 magma blocks placed down, and then go ahead and continue that on all of the other 3 sides. So if you want to double check to make sure you've done it correctly, from one end to the other end should be 23 blocks. So we should now have essentially a 23 by 23 square, which is exactly what we're going to make right now. So come to all of the sides, or any of the sides, doesn't matter which one, and you want to connect all of the corners and then go ahead and fill it in, making that 23 by 23 square. But do not fill in the center. You want to keep this 5 by 5 hole in the middle. Now that you're done building that first platform, what we want to do now is make these slabs on the top to ensure that no ghasts or magma cubes are going to spawn. So for this, coming to literally anywhere, but it's easiest if you start in the middle. You want to build up until you're at the max height again, and then you want to place down a slab, but you want to place it down on the bottom half, and so your Y coordinate should read 255.5. Once you have that, you can go ahead and break that, and then just make a row of slabs from one end all the way to the other. Now, since ghasts need a 4x4 area to spawn, what we can do is actually space out these slabs. We can skip 2 blocks and then place down another bottom slab and do the exact same thing. So there's 2 blocks in between the layers, and you just want to continue that until it's over the entire magma cube platform. Now, it might not perfectly line up on both sides, but that is totally okay. So there you go. Now, if you did it exactly in the center like I did, you should have 2 blocks off to both of the sides and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of these slabs. Now as well, something else I want to mention, as you can see, zombie piglin are starting to spawn. Even if you're in survival, this is 100% okay unless you hit them. They're not going to be annoying. If you hit them though, they are going to kill you. It's not even going to be close. So just make sure not to hit those guys. You'll be okay. But now let's crouch our way over back to this middle area where we can get started on the second layer for them to spawn on. So what you're going to want to do is copy this exact same thing up here down a layer. So you're going to want to break down 1, 2, 3. You should now be standing on Y level 250. And then we're just going to go ahead and do the exact same thing. And when you're doing this, you want to be 2 blocks up to the next level. So a 2 block gap, and then just copy literally the exact same platform size down here as well. Alrighty, perfect. There we go. And you should now see that the 5x5 hole, let me go into creative. The 5x5 hole perfectly matches up with the one below. This is very important. Make sure it's a perfect match. And as well, as you can see on the sides, it is the exact same size, once again with a 2 block gap. Now, we're going to work on actually attracting these guys towards the middle. So what you want to do is get the perfectly middle block in the 5x5 hole. So right here. What you want to do is go to the same level as this, and then you want to place down a turtle egg, and this should now attract these guys towards the middle. However, what you also want to do is place down a slab on the bottom there, followed by 1, 2 more on top, and open them up. So you should now have 3 trapdoors like this, and then go ahead and do that on all of the sides. So 3 trapdoors there, 3 on that side, and then go ahead and remove that scaffolding and place 3 right there as well, and then open all of them up. Now you want to do this exact same thing on this bottom layer here. Get out of here. So place down your turtle egg right there, and then 1, 2, 3. And when you open them all up, it should perfectly connect to the top. 1, 2, 3. And we're just going to keep doing this all the way around just to make sure that the zombie piglin can actually see through the trapdoor, but they're not going to be able to destroy your turtle egg. There you go. Doing all of that, placing down all of the trapdoors. It should now be a solid tube like this. And what you can actually do now, if you want to, is break this block because they can float in the air. So you don't actually need that block. There you go. Now, the final thing we have to do is make sure that the zombie piglin can actually run off the edge. They shouldn't be able to do that normally. What you want to do is place down 1 on the middle right there and then open it up. And now, as you can see, they can walk over that and fall all the way down. So break all of your temporary blocks and then do that on all sides. So in the middle, in the middle, in the middle, and then of course do the exact same thing on this bottom layer here. So there you go, 2 identical layers. Obviously, if you want to build more layers, that is totally okay as well. But for this video, I'm just going to show you guys 2 because that will be plenty efficient. But yeah, so there we go. The layers are now done. The spawn proofing up here is done. We're now going to work on the actual killing area for the zombie piglin. For this, what you want to do is go all the way down to Y level 231. Now, this is going to be the perfect height for them to be one hit on that top layer, and it'll also give you room to extend more layers later on if you want to. So from here, what you want to do is go, try not to hit these guys. You want to go directly underneath of this, the eggs that you've put there. Make sure that you're building with some non-spawnable blocks, so maybe like glass or some bottom slabs, anything like that. But glass is just the easiest for this part. Go directly underneath of here and then extend this out by 2 blocks to all sides. So we once again have a 5x5 square under here, and this should perfectly line up with the one above. Now, in any direction, doesn't matter which one, you want to build out 14 blocks. And then come back to the original area, and you just want to make this 3 blocks wide, just to make sure that when they're running down here, they don't, fall off the edge and you lose a lot of rates. There you go, you should be 14 blocks out, and you should now start to see once again a ton of zombie piglin falling down here and stacking up towards the center. Now, off of this 14th block, what I'm going to have you guys do is place down 2 temporary blocks like that, followed by a double chest or an auto sorting system or a bigger chest system, whatever you want. It produces a ton of drops, so this is going to be the bare minimum. Then go ahead and break both of those, and what you want to do now is lead 6 hoppers all into each other, leading into that chest, and then you also want to place some carpets on top of here. The carpets are very important to not only stop the XP from getting stuck in the hoppers, but also to stop these zombie piglin, the babies, from running after you and killing you, because it's very, very annoying. Now, holy crap, there's a lot of them back there. Okay, there's a ton of them back there, but they're okay once again. Unless you hit them, you'll be okay. Now, off of this, what I'm going to have you guys do, try not to fall to your death. That would be very bad. Maybe start off by placing 1 right there. There we go. You just want to make yourself a nice little platform down here, big enough so that you don't accidentally walk off and die like I just would have done. That would be really bad. But anyways, there we go. Place down all of your blocks, have a nice sized platform here. Obviously, you can make this however pretty you want. Now from here, what I'm going to have you guys do is place down 1 block on top of the chest right there, followed by slabs at this height. So you want to place down slabs on top of that block right here. You want to place down 5 long like that, and then jump around here. Don't die again. And you want to place down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. This is just to ensure that not only will these zombie piglin not walk off the edge, but they're also not going to be able to kill you. And once again, the babies can't run under here because of the carpet. So there you go. This is now done. And there's one final step we have to do to actually attract this insane horde of zombie piglin over to you. Now, what you want to do is get one of them inside of a boat over in this corner. There's 2 reasons we do this. The first one is so if there's no zombie piglin down here, but we kill the last one, they're not going to run towards you because they won't be aggravated. They won't know that you are punching them. However, by keeping 1 zombie piglin in a boat, they talk to each other, and so they're always going to be mad. The second reason, unless you want to have like snowballs or a bow and you want to hit them all the time, you can just run over here and slap this guy, and they're all going to run towards you. Now, what you can do to get one of these guys inside of a boat is either place down a boat over here and then make a path and move them over. However, they're going to be very low health because they fell so far. So the easier way would be to come all the way up to here and get one of them inside of a boat at this level. Now, if you are able to get just one of them inside of a boat, that's perfect. Hop in there with it as well. And now what you want to do is simply boat this guy off the edge over towards your platform. And if you line it up properly, you'll be okay. You perfectly land down here. And then what you want to do is push him over to this corner, just get him out of the way. And then when you're getting out of the boat, look in the direction of your platform and hop out. And there you go. You have your guy there, and this is your entire farm done. Now, one final thing, make sure that you have a good sword. You're going to want to have sharpness and sweeping edge to do the most damage, and then also looting, obviously, to get the most drops. But there we go. Now, all you have to do is either throw a projectile at those guys, or simply slap this guy over here. Now, as you can see, they're all going to start running towards me, and then all you need to do is either slap up here or slap down here. Kill all of these zombie piglin. Obviously, you're going to collect a ton of XP. Look at this, 12 levels already. And then, of course, all of the drops are going to go down inside of this chest. So there you go, a super easy but also very, very good gold XP farm. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. If you want to download this world, you can find a link down in the description. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. This is one of the most overpowered iron farms in all of Minecraft Java Edition. In just 20 minutes, this farm will get you over 8 stacks of iron, which is 24 stacks of iron every hour. With that, here's a materials list, and if you want to download this world, that is down in the description. First things first, for this farm, you're going to want to build it in a nice open area like this, making sure there's no caves or mountains nearby for the iron golems to spawn at. Also, you're going to want to make sure you're at least 150 blocks away from the closest village or village entity. That also includes any villagers, beds, or workstations, maybe a trading hall, anything like that. Make sure you're far enough away. With that, we can get started on the actual farm, and the first thing you want to do is dig a 25 by 25 hole in the ground. Now, once you've got that done, come to any one of the 4 corners, and you want to count in diagonally by 7 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. Now on this 8th block, you want to break that down and then make yourself an 11 by 11 square down here. All right, so it should now look like this. And if you've done it correctly, you're going to have 7 blocks on all of the sides around this square. Now, really quickly, if your farm isn't working, if something's not lining up, or if you just want to make sure that the farm works before you build it, you could download this world. There's a link down in the description. With that, now let's work on the killing chamber for the iron golems. So first things first, you can go ahead and remove all these temporary blocks over here. And then you want to run back down towards this middle square. Now, what you want to do is build in 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks just like that. And then on this 5th block, you want to dig yourself out a 3 by 3 square in the middle here. So perfect. There we go. You can then remove these temporary blocks. And now outside of this square, you should have 4 blocks to all of the sides. Now from here, what you want to do is take this down 6 more blocks for a total of 7 blocks deep. All right, so there we go. We've now got a 3 by 3 by 7 block deep hole. Now go up to the top here and you want to count down 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And on this 5th block right here, you want to place down 3 signs right there and then followed by 3 signs on it like that. And then 2 more signs. Now you can place a 3rd one. It's not actually going to change it. It's just when we go here now and we place that bucket of lava, it's going to flow over these signs, but it's not actually going to flow over this sign. So have this here, don't have this here. It really doesn't make a difference. Now that you have the lava, that's going to be killing the iron golems. What we now need to do is collect the loot. So what you want to do is break yourself out a nice little collection room over here. Doesn't matter which side you do or how big it is, just make it comfortable enough to be able to walk around. All right, so I'm going to do 1 more block here, and I think that should be good. Now, what you want to do right outside of this 3 by 3 square is place down 2 chests, and it doesn't matter which side you do it on. And now coming over here, what you want to do is place down all 9 of your hoppers, making sure that every single hopper is leading into another one into this chest. Make sure they are not leading into the ground. There we go, just like that. And now what you can do is just place any block right there, and then go ahead and place some glass over top of those chests. So now it should look like this. Now I've gone ahead and prettied this up, although obviously you can do it however you want. Coming up here just as a quick demonstration, when an iron golem spawns and falls down this 3 by 3 hole, he's going to burn to the lava, but because of the height, only he is going to burn. His drops are not going to. And then eventually when he does die to the lava, all of his iron will go down into this chest. So now I'd also recommend placing down a torch just to make sure no mobs spawn down here and kill you. And now we actually need to get out of this room. So going from this chest in the opposite direction, you want to go 27 blocks. So that's going to be 1 right there. That's number 2. So I have to go another 25 blocks in this direction. All right, and there we go. So that is 27 blocks from the chest. And now all you want to do is dig straight up and place some ladders with the trapdoor to get in and out of the collection area. So we've now got the iron golem killing area done, but we want to make sure that no water is going to flow down there. So what you want to do is place 3 temporary blocks at the back there, followed by 9 fence gates on them. And if you keep opening them up, you're just going to want to shift and place them down. You can then go ahead and remove your temporary blocks and then go ahead and open up all of those fence gates. However, this one in the middle is not actually necessary, so you can go ahead and break that, and you should now have 8 fence gates in a circle here. So there we go, we've got that done. We're now going to move on to the villager portion of the farm. Really quickly though, if you're enjoying, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for weekly farm tutorials. Now for this, you can either do 1, 2, 3, or 4 sides, and obviously every side you have will make the farm way more efficient. So what you're going to want to do is come to any one of the sides and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. Now on this 7th block, you want to place one down right there and then place down 25 blocks on the ground, making sure this is some solid block that mobs can spawn on. There we go. Now what you want to do is extend this 6 more blocks backwards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you want to fill in this whole square so you have a 25 by 7 rectangle on the ground. So there we go, we've got that built. And if you're wondering, that's why we made that tunnel so far away, just to make sure that we can still get in the farm and this isn't going to take over. Now, what you're going to want to do around this platform is just make a nice little 2-high wall on these 3 sides, but you're going to want to leave this side completely open. And there you go. So you should now have 3 walls around this rectangle, again, leaving this side open. Now, once you get to here, what you want to do is place 2 blocks like that, and then go ahead and continue this wall 2 blocks high until you get to this corner. And this is not only going to contain all of the water in the farm, but also contain all of the iron golems and make sure they're not able to escape. Now, really quickly, I just want to explain to you guys why we kind of have the farm going down in layers like this. So later on, what we're going to do, you don't have to do this right now, but you're going to take some water and place it all the way down here. And since we have the farm layered, all of these buckets of water here are going to flow the iron golems and push them all the way towards this center hole. So we don't have to place water buckets there and there and there and there. We can just do 1 bucket all the way at the top. But I'm going to get rid of this now because, like I mentioned, you don't need to do this just yet. Now, one slight problem with this is sometimes iron golems are going to spawn here and they actually get stuck, which is very annoying. So an easy way to prevent that is by taking 5 fences and placing them just like that. And this will prevent the iron golems from getting stuck. They shouldn't be able to get stuck on these blocks, but if they somehow are, just go ahead and place a couple more fences on those blocks. Okay, so we've got this done. We're now going to work on the box that the villagers are going to spend the rest of their life in, you monster. So for this part, what you want to do is go over to this corner block and then count 1 block in, followed by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks, and go ahead and place down a block right there. Now what you want to do is build up 6. So that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now what you can do is go ahead and break down all of those blocks. They're just temporary. Now from here, what you want to do is count over. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. And then you want to go 2 blocks in this direction. So you should have a 4 by 3 square here. Now on these back blocks, the side closest to the fence, you're going to want to place down your beds. Make sure that the white part of the bed is facing towards the middle. And then what you want to do is just place down your 4 beds right here. There we go. Now that you have this, what we're going to do is just make a nice little house around this. Just some 2 high walls to make sure that when we get the villagers inside of here, they are obviously not going to be able to escape. You're also going to want to extend this 1 past, so it should now look like this. However, we also want to make sure that iron golems do not spawn up here. So what you're going to do is take all of your slabs and you want to place them not only on these blocks here, but you also want to take them and place them over top of the beds. And you want to place them over top of these blocks just like that. So there you go. That's 1 villager area pretty much done. You now want to copy the exact same steps over on this side. All right, so we've got the villager areas done. We're now going to work on the zombie section so the villagers are scared and they spawn an iron golem. So for this, what you want to do is go in the middle of both of these. To find that, what you want to do is come to this block right here and then count over 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then you want to count in 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And then count up 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That should take you right to here. You're perfectly in the middle of them and you are at head height. Now, what I'm going to have you guys do is place down a piece of soul sand right there. And then as well, you're going to want to make yourself a nice little 2-high wall around this piece of soul sand. And this is where the zombie is going to be sitting. Then place a bucket of water at the bottom. And then go ahead and place 4 slabs on top of those blocks. 2 temporary blocks like that. And then a slab at the bottom of that block right there, and you can break both of those. Now here's how this section works. Once we get a zombie inside of there, and later on we're also going to have our villagers inside of here, as you can see the villagers are being scared, and so this is going to spawn an iron golem. However, if they are constantly scared and they have no chance of sleeping, after 20 minutes they're going to stop spawning. However, with this setup, as you can see when it turns nighttime, the villagers are able to hop in and out of bed really quickly. This happens because this zombie right here is going to bob up and down, up and down, up and down. He's going to be hiding underneath of this slab for a split second, which allows them to hop into bed, allowing more iron golems to spawn 24/7. I hope that made sense. So now that we've got that done, you can hop down here and break all of these temporary blocks. And now there's two more little things that we have to do to this area. The first thing you want to do is come up here and then go ahead and place a bunch of slabs on top of these blocks. Just again, making sure that iron golems are going to spawn inside of the farm. They're not going to spawn up here. Now, this doesn't have to be slabs. It can also be something like trapdoors or glass, but slabs are pretty cheap and pretty easy. There we go, placing those on every one of those blocks. And now what you want to do is come off to the side, make yourself a nice little infinite water source. There we go. And then you want to take one bucket of water and place it right there, and then skip a block, place it there, and that just, it uses less water. Doesn't really matter. And then you want to keep doing that until you have filled up the entire back wall. All right, so just getting the last bucket of water down. There we go. And now, like I mentioned earlier, all of the water is going to be flowing towards the center. Now, this part is done, and if you want, you can skip ahead to where we add the zombie and the villagers. However, if you want better rates, I would highly recommend taking everything that we just did over here and copying it on all 4 of the sides. Now, again, you can just have 1, you can have 2, 3, but I would highly recommend having 4 as it'll make the farm the most efficient possible. All right, and now as you can see, we've gotten all 4 of the sections built the exact same, and the corners are able to perfectly link up so no iron golems can escape. Now, the next thing that we're going to work on is getting the zombie inside of here and the villagers inside of these areas. So the first thing you want to do is make yourself a nice little temporary staircase to get up and down from this bed area. And then what you want to do is go up to your villagers. Now, it might be difficult to get all of those villagers, so I'd highly recommend getting a couple and then throwing some food at them and letting them breed. Now, to get them up there, it's actually more simple than you might think. All you want to do is wait for it to turn nighttime and then let them out, and they're naturally going to run up to those beds and sleep. Just when you're doing this, make sure you have no other beds in the area, otherwise they might run towards that. But pretty much, we got 2 of them here. Just wait for all 4 of them to run up into these beds. Now, perfect. Once they're all up here, what you want to do is take 4 slabs and place them right here. Do not place them at the top. You want to place it at the bottom because mobs can spawn on top slabs, but they cannot spawn on bottom slabs. So there we go. All 4 of these villagers are now going to be trapped inside of here. And now you can go ahead, remove your temporary staircase, and then repeat that same process for every villager area that you have. All right, so once you've gotten all of your villagers into their beds, the final thing we need to do is get a zombie inside of this area. Now for this, you're again going to want to make a staircase up. As well, go ahead and break that slab right there, and then grab a trap door and place it down so the zombie wants to walk in. Now what you're going to do is just head down this staircase and get a zombie to follow you up the staircase, and then we're going to lead him into that box. All right, so taking this zombie, you're just going to kind of run around the back here, and the zombie should be able to walk in on his own. Perfect, there we go. Now, once he's in there, try not to get hit by him like I just did. As you can see, iron golems are now starting to spawn. What you want to do is remove this trap door, make sure to put a name tag on him so he doesn't despawn, and then close up the slab, and of course, do that for all of your sections. As you can see, the villagers are scared, but they're still able to periodically sleep, which, like I mentioned earlier, will allow the iron golems to spawn 24/7. And just like that, you can see a ton of iron golems are spawning in this farm, and they're all getting pushed towards that center hole. Now, if I hop into spectator mode really quickly and fly down, you can see that they're all going to burn to that lava. And then, of course, all you have to do is stand here, and all of the drops are going to go down inside of this chest. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for weekly tutorials. As well, again, you could download this exact world down in the description, and I'd recommend checking out one of the videos on your screen right now for even more great content. This is the easiest villager breeder in Minecraft Java and Bedrock Edition. You're going to want to start off by placing 12 blocks down like this, leaving a 1 block gap in the middle. Then go ahead and place 4 slabs on top of those, and then 1 fence on the slabs. Now place 4 beds like you see here. Next, place 2 temporary blocks, and on the bottom of the top block, you want to place 4 trapdoors. You can then break the temporary blocks, and in the corners, you want to place down some carpets. If you're in Bedrock Edition, you're going to want to place carpets here as well so the villagers can't jump out, but since I'm in Java, I'm going to get rid of these. The next thing we need to do is get 2 villagers inside of this hole. The easiest way to get them inside is to make a staircase going down to the ground. And then once you get your villagers nearby, simply wait for it to turn nighttime and they should walk up to the beds on their own. You now want to break any nearby blocks that they might be able to wake up on, so when it does turn daytime and they wake up, they will be inside of the center. Now go anywhere near the farm and build up 5 blocks. And then go ahead and throw a stack of bread, carrots, or potatoes on top of the fence post, and they should start to breed. Now to get up and down, you might just want to place some ladders here. After a couple minutes, you should start to see the red hearts pop up, and then a villager will eventually fall down. Now to get the villager, what you want to do is place 1 temporary block on the side here, and then break the bottom block and replace it with a trapdoor. You can then break the temporary block, and to actually get the villager out, all you need to do is place down a boat, push it nearby, and then wait for the villager to get inside of the boat. Once he does, you can grab your villager and ride off into the sunset. We're posting daily videos, so make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. In today's video, we're going to build this super easy trading hall for Minecraft Java and Bedrock Edition. You want to start off by digging a pattern in the ground like this. You also want to repeat that for however many villagers you're going to do, and for this tutorial, we are going to do 5 villagers. Once you're finished with that, what you want to do is run around over here, and on the second block in, break it and then place an upward facing piston, and do that for all of your spots. You then want to take your 1 piece of redstone and place it in front of each one of the pistons. And then take a lever and place it in the front here, and when you flick this lever, the piston should move up. Then run around to the back side, place down a trapdoor right there, and then open up the trapdoor, and of course do that for all of your spots as well. We now need to make the actual walls, so go ahead and place down 4 blocks just like this, and then place down 4 blocks in between each one of the sections. You then want to make a roof over top of this. I'm going to use the least amount of blocks possible, but of course you can make this as pretty as you want to. Now coming around to the back, you want to put a strip of blocks right here to make sure the zombie doesn't burn and the villagers are stuck inside. Speaking of which, you now want to get a villager close to the area. I recommend using a boat, and then to get him inside, just box him in with some temporary blocks, and go ahead and destroy the boat. The villager should eventually walk in, and then what you want to do is put whatever workstation you're going to use. For me, it's going to be composter, and place it down right there. You can then flick this lever up and your villager should be in position. You then want to go ahead and remove all of your temporary blocks, and eventually the villagers should pick up the profession, as you can see here. Now once you've gotten all 5 of your villagers, the final thing you want to do is get a zombie back in this area, and I recommend doing it in the way that you see on screen right now. Now, to use the farm, all you're going to need is a splash potion of weakness and a golden apple. Now, also make sure your game is on hard mode. This is super important, otherwise they might die instead of turning into a zombie villager. But all you have to do is trade with them once to lock in the trade you want to keep, and then simply flick this lever down. The villager is going to die to the zombie, turn into a zombie villager, and then all you have to do is flick this lever back up, throw the potion of weakness onto him and the golden apple, and then wait a little bit and he will turn into the new villager. As you can see, the trades are now cheaper, and you can repeat this process if you want to make them even better. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We're posting daily videos just like this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. In this video, we're going over 10 overpowered glitches that are still working in Minecraft 1.21+. I've been searching the internet for literal days and have found 7 overpowered duplication glitches and 3 other glitches that are just super useful. Now with that, let's start off with number 10, the chunk loader in Minecraft Java. Unfortunately, this isn't in Bedrock Edition yet, but in Java, it's very simple. By hitting F3 and G, you can see your chunk. This chunk loader has now made it so anything in this chunk is going to be loaded. It doesn't matter what it is. A sugarcane farm, an iron farm, a zombie farm. You can put it in the nether in the end. And all you need to build it is 1 piece of soul sand, 1 ender pearl, and 2 buckets of water. Now what you want to do is dig down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. Place down a soul sand at the bottom, and then place water going up to the top here. You might want to make an infinite water source. Then all you have to do is jump and throw an ender pearl, and there you go, it's done. Now again, hitting F3 and G, anything inside of this chunk is going to be loaded no matter what. Now, something else you can do if you just want to explore without getting lost is place a daylight sensor right there with a trap door on it. Now, whenever it turns nighttime, you're automatically going to be teleported back to this spot. Now, let's move on to number 9, something even better. A tripwire hook duplicator, because who doesn't need more tripwire? Okay, no, of course not. But what you can do is take these tripwire hooks over to a fletching villager and trade it for free emeralds. Now, this design is super simple. You literally just run in here, hold down, right click, and boom, there you go. You get a ton of tripwire hooks super easily. And using a trick that I'll show you later, you can do something special to speed it up. Look at that. I had 1. Now I'm well over a stack of these. Super, super easy. And then all you have to do, like I said, take it over to a fletching villager and get tons of emeralds. So with that, here's everything that you're going to need to build this tripwire hook duplicator. Now, once you've grabbed all of your things, start by placing down a solid block with a tripwire hook on it right there. You then want to count away 1, 2 blocks. Go ahead, break that. Then place any temporary block. I don't have one. Hold on. Place down a temporary block 1 block away right there with an upside down stair just like that. Then go ahead and place down an iron trapdoor facing in this direction with a slab right there. You can break that block and then place down a water bucket there and it's going to flow into that hole. Now, what you want to do is come on top of here, place down 1 block right there, 1 block there, and then 2 more so it looks like this. And then go ahead and take 5 pieces of redstone and place them on top of these blocks. Now, what you want to do is place down an armor stand right here and then a piece of string on the tripwire hook. Now, all you need is a single tripwire to do this. You come over here, you hold down right click, and then it's going to break it. And it goes at a decent speed. But if you want to make it even faster, go options, controls, and then keybinds. And you want to replace your use item or place block with any key, doesn't matter which one. Now, when you hold down that key and you hold down left click, oh, if I can get it right. There we go. It's going to go at super speed and get you so many tripwire hooks. And like I mentioned, of course, all of these can be traded over to a Fletcher to get infinite emeralds. All right, I think it's time to move on to number 8. It's beautiful. It's a work of art. The TNT Duper is so useful for clearing out huge areas of your world. And aside from that, I mean, we all love TNT. This is awesome. So with that, here's everything that you're going to need to build this TNT Duper. Now, the first thing you actually want to do is find your location and then make sure to build up at least 20 blocks. Otherwise, this thing is going to blow itself up, which none of us want to happen. So once you've built up this high, you're probably going to want to make a little area to walk around. And once you've done that, you want to start off by placing a sticky piston with 3 slime blocks down like that. Then go ahead and place a fence or a stone wall at the end there with 3 more pieces of slime, just like that as well. So you kind of have like 2 separate L shapes here. Now coming over to this side, what you want to do is grab a dead coral fan. Now, if it's not dead, that is okay. Just make sure it dies before you go to use it. Otherwise, it's going to blow up. You want to place that down right there and then place your TNT down right there as well. Now, what you want to do is take a detector rail and you want to place that on that slime block and then place a minecart on top of that. And make sure you're doing all of these things in the order that I did them. Otherwise, the farm's not going to work. Now, before finishing it off, I'd recommend removing a bunch of your temporary blocks. Otherwise, you're probably going to blow up everything. Okay, perfect. Now let's just come up here, and behind this piston, what you want to do is place down 1 observer, or first of all, place 2 temporary blocks there, and then place an observer facing in that direction. There we go. Now, you want to take either another observer if you want it to be automatic and place it here, or a trapdoor. So let's start with manual. Now, every time I flick this, as you can see, 1 piece of TNT is being duplicated and blowing everything up. Perfect. However, like I mentioned earlier, if you want this to be fully automatic, you can replace this with another observer and they're just going to go off on each other. And there you go. You have an infinite TNT Duper, and look at how satisfying this thing is. All right, now moving on from that to number 7, and we have a carpet duplicator. Very, very simple. You walk back here, you flick the piston, and boom, there you go. You get infinite carpets. Now, the cool thing about this design too is you can place even more carpets on top of that. You can keep going, and all of these carpets are now going to be duplicating, and look at this. This is awesome. And even better, it works with any color you want as well. Now, this farm is relatively simple to build, and you only need a couple of things to do it. Now, once you've gotten all of that, start off by placing down a block on the ground with a sticky piston on the front, and then a lever, and then flick that so it's extended out. Now place down 2 slime blocks, at least 2 slime blocks. You can do up to 5 if you want. A dead coral fan on the front. Again, if it's alive, you can just wait for it to die. And then a carpet on that, and then place an observer looking down. Make sure the redstone dot is down. And now, perfect, whenever you flick this lever, it's going to be working. Very simple. And like I mentioned, it works with every color of carpet too. I mean, this will give you more carpet than you could ever need. So those are cool, but they are a little messy, just spraying the carpets everywhere. So moving on to number 6, let's do something similar, but this one is going to put it and use it as fuel. So there you go. You now have infinite fuel with the flick of a lever. Most of the carpets get funneled towards this hopper. You still have some leaking out, but who cares? A lot of them go down into this furnace. You can then smelt your item, and there you go. You're never going to have to go mining for fuel again. Now, once again, this farm's very simple and does not require that many things to build. Now, once you've grabbed all of those, start off by placing down your chests where you want your final smelted items to go, along with a hopper right there leading into it, and then a furnace on top of that hopper. Now, coming to the back, place another hopper leading into it there. You might have to shift to place it, and that's where the carpet is going to go and be used as fuel. Now, also take a sticky piston and place it facing in that direction. Then you want to place 1 block right there, 2 blocks to the side like that, and then go ahead and take a repeater and place it into that block, and then a lever right there, and once you flick this lever, that piston is going to shoot outwards. Now, coming over to the end of this sticky piston, place down 2 slime blocks like that, and then facing in this direction, you want to place down an observer. Make sure the arrow, as you can see, is facing towards that block, and now every time you flick this, it's going to be going back and forth indefinitely. Now, finally, place down your carpet on top of that sticky piston, and then go ahead and just don't place a block there. Box this whole area in just so the least amount of carpets can escape as possible. If you want to use glass, that's totally okay too. And there you go, you flick that lever, and now the carpet's going to be getting duplicated, and a lot of it is going down inside of here. Now all you do is you walk up here with all this duplicating, you put the items you want to smelt in there, and perfect, you have infinite fuel where all of your items are going to be smelted and then put down into that chest. Just don't leave it on too long, otherwise you might end up lagging out your whole game. Now, so far I've shown you 1 useful trick and 4 duplication glitches. And really quickly, if you're enjoying, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for weekly videos just like this one. And now let's move on to number 5, a piece of TNT. Now, as we all know, TNT does not blow up in the water. Why it doesn't blow up in the water? Well, because it's water, so perfect. However, this can be very annoying. So if you want the TNT to blow up in the water, all you need to do is put a piece of sand on top of it. Then when you light the TNT, check this out. Let me stand back. Boom. And there you go. The TNT blew up underneath the water. Now, where this gets super useful is at monuments. When you have mining fatigue and you just cannot break through that block, TNT doesn't work, but with the piece of sand on top, it now does. And just like that, you can easily get inside of the ocean monument. Look at that. Now, moving on to number 4, what do we have? It's a rail duplicator, because rails can be so expensive and annoying, especially if you're trying to make a really, really long track. And this one's very simple to set up, and with 1 flick of a lever, you can duplicate so many rails. And the best part here is it works with power, detector, and activator. It works with all of them. Look at this, you can duplicate powered rails. How useful is this? Now, once again, it's a very cheap build and doesn't require many materials at all. Go ahead and grab all of those. The first thing you want to do is place down 3 blocks on the ground like that, and then go ahead and place 2 pieces of redstone on top of those blocks. Then place a lever there. And on this side, what you want to do is place a sticky piston with 2 slime blocks on it, an observer, making sure that the arrow is facing into the redstone, and then place whatever rails you want on top of your slime blocks. It should look something like that. All right, let me go into creative. It should look like this to make it easier for you. And now anytime you hit that lever, hit it again. There you go. A bunch of rails are being duplicated. Now, I'm not sure if you can tell, but only one of these sides is actually duplicating the rail. And so if you want to fix that, what you can do is just switch it around. So my piston was over here. I'm just going to put my piston on that side this time. Set it up, and there we go. Now both of them are duplicating. Now as well, for me, I've set up 4 of these, each facing a different direction. The one facing north isn't working, but all of the other ones are. So if your farm's not working, just rotate it and you should be fine. All right, now moving on to number 3, we have this. And what is this? Well, it is a gravity block duper, which can duplicate sand, any type of concrete powder, and as well, you can duplicate gravel. However, this isn't the whole thing. You do have to make it over to the end portal where we can start building this farm. Now, in the earlier versions of 1.21, what you could do is grow a mushroom and break the end portal frames. Unfortunately, however, this is now patched in 1.21.5. So we're going to have to go into the end for this one. Now we're going to be building this farm at this center end portal frame. And the first thing we need to do is break 3 pieces of bedrock. Again, we can't use that mushroom method, so we're going to have to use a different method to do this. First things first, just go ahead and dig out those 3 blocks and then a couple blocks over to this side just so we have space to work. Now coming over to the materials list, this up here is going to be for the main farm. This is the collection system, and then this is what we need to actually break the bedrock. Now, the first thing we need to do to break this piece of bedrock here is place down an upwards facing piston there with a piece of obsidian like that, 2 TNT there, any solid block, and then a lever. Now we're going to flick this lever, which will blow that up and extend this piston. And what we need to do is place down another piston here at the same time. However, it can be a little complicated to do. So to make it easier, go into your options, controls, and keybinds. And then once again, change your use item to any key. This is because when we're placing, like with our right click button, we can place at a normal speed. But when you now hold this down, it's just going to hyper place blocks, which is very useful. So come over here, hit that key to flick the lever, and then hold out a piston. Try not to do that. Oh, okay. And I messed it up. Okay. So that's why it's definitely not a bad idea to bring yourself a little bit of extra TNT because you could definitely mess up this farm. Let's try this one more time, see if I can get it. Maybe crouching is easier, holding it down, and there we go. We've broken 1 piece of bedrock, bedrock, perfect. Now just repeat this same process 2 more times to break all 3 of these. Now that you're done breaking the bedrock, we can get started on building the actual farm. So from here, first of all, place down a couple blocks there so you don't accidentally walk into it. And then go ahead and break the 6 blocks in front. Place 3 upwards facing pistons there, and then 3 observers, making sure that the arrow is pointing into the piston. Now from there, what you want to do is break down 2 blocks behind all the pistons, and then go ahead and do the exact same thing 2 more times to one of the sides. So there we go. Now, place down a solid block right there, or you can keep it endstone, whatever you want, with a trap door, and then go ahead and place 5 pieces of scaffolding on that block so it reaches all the way over to here. Now from there, what you want to do is come over to this observer here, and you want to break those blocks down and some of them to the side just so we have space to work. Now place down a block right there with a redstone torch on the side, and you can see every time we place this down, all of the pistons extend up and down. Perfect. Now take a piece of redstone and place it down right there. A solid block on top of that, make sure not to click it, so keep it out like that. A solid block on top. A piece of redstone there, a redstone repeater facing in this direction, and then go ahead and break both of those blocks and place another repeater facing towards that one. Now you want to take this one twice and then take this one 3 times all the way to the max. There we go. And then go ahead and break both of those blocks and place down a lever right there. And then when you flick it, there you go. Perfect. It should look like this. Now, once you're done with that, what you want to do is come back over to this redstone torch, place down 2 blocks on top of it there, another trapdoor, and then you want to do the same thing, place down a couple pieces of scaffolding, but this time only 4 pieces, and that'll again take you to the end here. Now, once you're done placing that, come over here, and you want to place down 3 more pistons on top of the observers so it looks like this. Now, the final steps for this farm, go ahead and take 3 observers and place them right there, making sure the red dot is facing the pistons. You can then go ahead and break those 3 blocks, replace it with some stone walls, and then place either sand, gravel, or any colored concrete powder in this spot. Now, coming over here, when I flick this lever, it should look like this. Now, some of them might end up breaking, which is okay. Hold on a second. If they break, what you want to do is come underneath of here, and it's very simple. All you want to do is just place down extra redstone. So place 1 redstone right there, and then place another extra piece of redstone over there. And now just come up here, replace your blocks, and when you flick this lever, perfect. Now all 3 of them are going to be properly duplicating. However, these are just going to be building up in the overworld. As you can see, if I turn this off and I head through here, they're all just going to be building into a tall tower. So we have to make a collection system now. So first things first, to get rid of this big tower, just go ahead and place a torch at the bottom. and that'll get rid of all of these blocks. Super satisfying. Now you can go ahead and pick these up, but don't break your torch. You want to remember where that is. Going 1 block away, you want to place down 6 double chests like I have here, and then go ahead and place down 9 hoppers, having this torch be in the center of them. And then once you place a trapdoor on top of there, the trapdoor is going to break the sand, gravel, concrete powder, put it into the anvils, and then like I mentioned, put it all inside of these chests. All right, we've got a couple empty chests here. Let's see how much we can get in 5 minutes. All right, let's start this farm and let this run for... All right, so it's been close to 5 minutes now. Let's go turn this off, hop through here, and let's see how much we were able to get. Yeah, so a ton of gravity blocks. Honestly, 5 minutes of this farm for this many blocks is pretty good. Alrighty, now moving on to number 2, we have something over in the nether, which is actually going to be breaking the nether roof. So let's come all the way up here. Now getting up there is very simple. You just want to hit F3, make sure you're at Y level 125 with the ladder, and then just take an ender pearl, throw it into the corner, and jump, and perfect, you are on top of the nether roof. Now, super important, you're going to want to remember what block you're standing on, so either write down the coordinates of it or just place a block on top. And as well, I'd recommend bringing some obsidian and a flint and steel for a nether portal so you're actually able to get off of the roof. Now, getting onto the nether roof in Java Edition is so important. If you're ever going to build a farm in the nether, it is better to be built up here because no other mobs are going to be spawning. It gives you literally the best rates, and plus it's super easy for nether travel. However, sometimes it can be annoying to have to go back through a nether portal, so now let's figure out how to break this piece of bedrock. Now the materials list for this farm is very small. You might want to bring some extra TNT in case you mess up, however. So what you want to do is place down 2 pieces of obsidian there, 2 pieces of TNT like that, a lever right there, and then a trap door there and open it up. Now you want to replace this temporary block that you placed down with a piston. Now, what you either want to do when we're replacing this piston is hold down Alt and place it, because we need to do it really quickly. Or, once again, you can go back into your controls, keybinds, and change one of these. I'm going to use, let's go with H. Now, very simple. Flick the lever. If I can, I have to hit H. H to flick the lever, open the trap door, and then just hold down your piston. And I'm holding down H. There we go. Open it up properly, and now when I break this piston, that piece of bedrock is not gone. All right, so let's just try this one more time. Flick the lever, put the trapdoor down, hold down with your piston in the corner. Did I get it that time? Okay, perfect. And as you can see, we broke the bedrock, and now we can very easily get up and down from the nether roof. Now coming in at number 1, the final thing. Boom, a barrel. What could this be? This is a duplicating glitch, which can be used to duplicate literally every single item in the game, shulker boxes, or in my case, I'm going to duplicate a stack of diamonds. It's going to put the rest of the farms to shame. Now, unfortunately, this glitch was patched in 1.21.5. However, 1.21.4 and below, it is still going to work, so I'm still going to show it to you guys. What you want to do is open up your options, video settings, and you want to max out your render distance and your simulation distance. Then come down here to frame rate, and you also want to turn that down to 10. There you go. Your game should now be moving terribly. Open that up, put them inside of there, and then hit Control, Shift, and Escape. Then go ahead and close your Minecraft launcher and then reopen the game. All right, and loading back in, as you can see, I have the diamonds in my inventory and I have the diamonds inside of there. And let me just fix these awful settings. Boom, there you go. Duplicated items. You can duplicate literally anything super easily. So there we go. That is all 10 of these glitches. If you want to download this world, you can find a link down in the description. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for weekly videos. And as well, I'd recommend checking out one of the videos on your screen right now for even more great content. Today, we're going to build the easiest sand duper for Minecraft Java 1.21 edition. In just 5 minutes of using this farm, I was able to get over 830 sand, which is 10,000 sand an hour using this farm. On top of that, it works for sand, gravel, or concrete powder, and is super easy to set up. With that out of the way, here's the materials list. Let's get straight into the video. This farm is built at the stronghold frame, so you want to start by finding that, lighting it, heading through, and killing the ender dragon. After you've done that, picking one of the 4 sides, or all 4 sides, doesn't matter. You want to break 5 blocks into the wall, and this is so we're a total of 7 blocks away from the main frame. You now want to clear out this wall so we have space to actually build the farm. While you're doing this, you also want to make sure the roof is 6 blocks tall. So for me, I'm going to have to clear out another block on the roof. Now you don't have to do this part, but I would also recommend patching any holes in the walls or the roof just to make it look prettier. Now that you're done clearing that area out, I would also recommend clearing out the lava underneath of the end portal frame. Again, not necessary, but will just make your life easier. And then again, I would do the same thing for the staircase, making sure to remove the spawner so the annoying silverfish don't keep attacking you. Now to start on the actual farm, come over to the side that you just dug out and go underneath of the end portal frame. You want to count away 2 blocks and then place a piece of dirt with a mushroom on top that is 2 blocks in the ground. Now when we bone meal this mushroom, it is going to break the end portal frame, which is going to allow us to duplicate the sand, gravel, or the concrete powder. As you can see, it successfully broke for us. It should look like this, and then you can go ahead and remove the rest of the mushroom. Now to start with the actual farm, place a block there with a sticky piston on top. Now place 3 pieces of redstone in front, and then break those 3 blocks there, with a redstone repeater right there at 3 ticks, and then 2 more pieces of redstone down there. Now place 2 blocks on top of those, with a piece of redstone dust on the first block, and then a repeater facing in that direction on the second one. Now place a block right there, a redstone torch on that side, and a redstone torch on top of the block as well. Now take a sticky piston, place it down there, and it should extend out. Now build up a couple blocks and place 2 more blocks on top of those. Now from here, place 1 piece of redstone here, and then 1 repeater facing in this direction set to 1 tick. You also want to place a block in front of that repeater, a redstone dust on top of that block, and then 1 more block right here. It should now be looking something like this, and make sure this part is right, otherwise the farm will not work. Now you want to place a lever on the front, and then 1 more piece of redstone right there. Your farm should be working, and then you can go ahead and click that lever off for now. Now coming up to this top block, you want to place 3 sticky pistons facing straight down. Place 3 slime blocks off of this sticky piston, and then 3 more slime blocks off of this sticky piston down here. You also want to take 3 leaf blocks and place them right here on top of this piece of redstone. Now, this farm can be used for either sand, gravel, or any type of concrete powder. All you have to do is walk over here and flick this lever, and it should look something like this. If this isn't working, again, you could download the schematic or Lightmatic down below. Now go ahead and turn this off, hop through your portal, and we need to build the collection system for the farm. So we need to start off by figuring out which direction the blocks came from. To do this, just go to the middle of the platform and build up with a couple blocks, and then go back and run the farm again. Now, when you run the farm again, the blocks might fall through. That's not going to happen later on, but it might right now. That is okay. Just break the blocks, replace them on top, and then rerun the farm. After you've had it running for a couple seconds, come through the end portal frame, and you can see which side the blocks are coming out of. So for me, it's this side. Remember that side, and then break the other blocks. Now, right here, what you want to do is place down a double chest. And then in the middle, place down 2 hoppers leading into that chest. You now want to take some blocks and surround these hoppers to make sure all of the items are falling into the hoppers and they're not going straight down into the void. The final thing you want to do is take 2 carpet and place it on top of these hoppers. We're now going to work on a chunk loader for the farm, so it works when we're not in the area, but if you're okay with AFKing near it, you don't have to do this part. To start off, break 4 blocks in the ground like this. Place an upward facing dispenser right there with a hopper leading into the side of it. Then place a lever on the side and a redstone torch right there with a block on top. The next thing you want to do is place 2 rails like that, and then break that top rail so this one looks like this. You then want to place 4 pieces of obsidian right there, and then continue this to make yourself a nether portal. You now want to take a hopper minecart and place it down right there so it falls into the portal, and then light it on fire. Now what you need to do is go into this dispenser and fill it up with some hopper minecarts, and then once you're finished doing that, turn the lever on, and you want to keep this on until this hopper minecart gets pushed through the portal, and then you can turn this off. Now hop through the nether portal, and wherever you see the minecart, you want to place down some fire, which will actually break the minecart and allow the chunk loader to work. And your chunk loader should now be working. All you have to do is walk over here, again flick that lever, and this system should be going forever. Now again, all you have to do is run over here, flick that lever, and the farm should be working. If you come through the end portal frame, you're going to see your block is being thrown over top of the collection system and being picked up, because we do have that chunk loader over in the other dimension. And there you go, all of the items are going into this chest. Again, you could download the schematic or Lightmatic down in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. This is a very fast 4-minute tutorial on how to build the best simple raid XP farm for Minecraft 1.21+. You can download this world, first link in the description. We want to make sure that all of the mobs spawn in our farm, so go over top of a body of water, turn your render distance to 7, and make sure that you can't see any land nearby, so they all spawn in the farm. The first thing you want to do is press F3 plus G, and then plus F3. You want to look for the northeast corner of one of these chunks. So for me, that's right here, and then build up to the surface of the water. Now build 3 blocks out into the chunk. So you should have 4 blocks placed down. You can press F3 and G to remove the chunk borders again, and then build up 20 blocks into the air using a temporary block. Now once you get up here, again going into the chunk, you want to place 2 blocks like that. Place a bucket of lava on the top and wait for it to flow all the way down to the bottom. Once it does, remove that lava bucket and place a piece of water right there, and then break these 4 pieces of cobblestone, and that'll automatically create the drop chamber for us. You can then remove the water and get rid of all of your temporary blocks. Now if you want to remove this dirt, you can, but it doesn't really matter. What you want to do though on any side is break 4 of those blocks, and then pretty this up if you feel like it. Break 3 blocks there with 1 double chest right there, and then a hopper leading into it underneath that drop chamber. Then place 2 stairs facing like that, and then 3 slabs like this. From here you want to place 1 slab on every block down here to make sure none of the mobs spawn down here. Then coming 1 block away from that drop chamber on any one of the sides, place down a composter, and then build up 2.5 blocks and place a slab right there. Now go over to your villager that you have and make a way for him to get up, and then it'll automatically run over to the composter. You want to push him inside and then place another slab on top so he's stuck there forever. Now coming back up to the top, place 4 more blocks like that, and then in the direction of the villager, you want to build out 3 blocks here, 3 blocks over here as well, and then fill that whole area in so you have a 5x5 square up here. If you break that middle block, you should see that it looks right over top of that villager. Now once you're done with that, place a temporary block with 1 block on top of it there, and you want to make a 4-high wall around that square that we've just made. There you go. Now that you have that wall, what you want to do is go to the corner opposite of the drop chamber, break those 8 blocks, and then place 4 blocks in this corner here to make sure all of the water flows properly. The next thing you want to do is go over the drop chamber and place 3 signs like that with a bucket of lava to kill the ravagers. Now turn around and you want to temporarily break those 4 blocks and then make yourself a little temporary platform to work out here. What you want to do is place a temporary block right there and right there. Then break that block and place a trapdoor facing in that direction, and then do the same thing over here as well. Now water is going to be sitting by these trapdoors, so what we want to do is place a couple of blocks around to make sure that the water obviously flows in the correct direction. Now take a redstone torch and you want to place that down right there with a piece of redstone on that block. And then of course do the same thing on this side as well. You can then go ahead and remove all of your temporary blocks and then build up these 4 blocks again. Now shift and place 2 buckets of water inside of those trapdoors. Then take 4 tripwire hooks and place them all at this height. And then connect them all using some string. This is so the mobs are still able to spawn, but once they do, they activate the tripwire, all of the water comes out of the trapdoor and pushes them down that killing chamber. Now the final thing we want to do is take a bunch of slabs and place them up here, again to make sure all the mobs spawn in the farm, And then you also want to place 2 slabs down there, and finally place 2 slabs over top of these pieces of redstone here. Now, all you have to do is drink an ominous bottle, and I would also recommend having a pretty good sword for this. Then all you have to do is hit the mobs when they fall down this chamber. You will win the raid, and the Vexes will not be able to attack you, collecting all of the items and getting a bunch of XP while you're doing it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. This is the best ominous bottle farm in Minecraft 1.21. This farm will produce over 450 ominous bottles an hour, and I don't know when you're going to need more than that. So with that out of the way, here's a materials list. And let's get straight into the video. The first thing you want to do for this ominous bottle farm is find yourself a pillager outpost that looks a little something like this one that you see here. Making sure that it is fairly flat. You don't want to have any big mountains or bodies of water nearby. Otherwise, the pillagers might get stuck in there instead of actually running towards the center of the farm. Now, the first thing I recommend you guys do is just run around and make a couple iron golems along the edge to run around and kill these pillagers so they're not running after you and constantly killing you, because that would get very, very annoying when you're in survival mode. So just run around, make 2, maybe 3 of these guys, doesn't really matter. There we go, and they should be able to take care of them for now. Now, the next thing you want to do is run towards this outpost, and you actually want to clear out the entire thing except for this bottom layer of birch here. So the easiest way that I've found to do that is just take a flint and steel and light a bunch of this stuff on fire, and eventually this will all disappear. And then just take a pickaxe and break all of these stone blocks. Okay, so it should now look like this, and the rest of this will end up burning eventually. Just go up and make sure you break all of these stray blocks so no pillagers accidentally spawn on top of those. Now we're going to get started on the actual farm, which is starting with the perimeter. So the first thing you want to do is come to the center and then count in 5 blocks. So 1 right there, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then on the 6th block, you want to mark that out, and if you build or fly up, you can see that is in the exact center of this platform here, and you should have 4 birch blocks and then the cobblestone between the middle block and here. It's pretty self-explanatory. Now, the next thing you want to do, not counting this block, but starting right here, is go out 11 blocks. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 on the 11th block, and if you want to check, this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 blocks from that center. Now, from here, what you want to do is make yourself a 3x3 nether portal, something like this, and this is what the pillagers are going to be running through. The reason we use nether portals is because it makes the farm so much faster. Instead of having to wait for the pillagers to die in the overworld, they automatically go to the nether, obviously by running through the nether portals, and then the space for more pillagers frees up, allowing for more to spawn even faster, making this farm way more efficient. So now with that 1 3x3 portal placed down that is 11 blocks from here or 12 blocks from the center, you want to copy that same thing on all 4 of the sides. Alright, and there you go. So you should now have those, oh, don't break it. You should now have the 4 nether portals at the same distance away from the farm. The next thing you want to do is take your walls, and this can be any type of wall, does not matter what material. And then off of the nether portal, you want to extend it all the way out to here, and then connect it to this one. And we're just making a perimeter to keep all of the actual pillagers outside of the middle area. We want to make sure they all get funneled through these nether portals. Now, if you have something like this where the walls go off of this, you just want to make sure that you build it up to all be the same height. So there we go. And then just continue the wall like this. Doesn't matter if there are things right on the outside. Just make sure that the wall does properly connect. Also, if you run into anything like this where the blocks come close to the wall, you're just going to want to clear out the blocks nearby to make sure that none of the pillagers are able to simply jump over top of the wall. Now with that though, as you can see, I've got my perimeter all the way around, and we can go ahead and get started on the next step, which is placing down the water and putting the iron golems in the middle. Before we do this though, you just want to run around this area on the inside and make sure there are no holes like this, because otherwise that will mess up the water's flow. Now for this part, I would highly recommend you guys set up an infinite water source, because we are going to need quite a few buckets of water. Now coming into the middle here, on these corners right here, you want to place down a bucket of water and do that for all 4 of the sides. And this would be quite a bit easier if you use ice off the start and then just run around and break the ice. But of course, water buckets are a lot more convenient. Now that you have that, on these blocks right here, in the center of this strip in line with that, you want to place down another bucket of water. So again, do that for all 4 of these sides. And now that hole in the center should fill up with water. There we go. And then finally, you want to go over to all 4 of these corners, and you also want to place down some buckets of water, just like this. And there we go. Now, once we get an iron golem into that center, there's no way that he's ever going to be able to escape this area. He's going to be stuck in the middle. Speaking of which, that's what we're going to do next. So come to the middle and place a solid block there, followed by your iron blocks, and then your carved pumpkin on the top to create an iron golem. And then break that bottom there, and this guy will stay here forever. And as you can see, all of these pillagers are already being funneled through the nether portals. Now, the final thing we have to do is actually set up how to kill the pillagers, and then of course the collection system. So what I'm going to have you guys do now is light all 4 of these nether portals. To do this, obviously it's not going to work if the water is here. So you want to place down some temporary blocks, light the portal like that, and then just come over and break those temporary blocks, and the portal should be lit. And then of course, you're going to do that for all 4 of these sides. So there we go. Do that right there. On the 3rd one. And then of course, doing that on the 4th side as well, until you have all 4 of these nether portals lit up. There we go. Just like that. Now, the way this farm works, once the pillagers run through here, they're going to die. Their items are then going to be popped back out through the nether portal and into a collection system on the overworld side. Now, we actually have to make the collection system on 1 out of the 4 portals, and that portal depends on which one we go through. So for me, I'm going to go through this portal, but when you do this in survival, be careful because there are going to be quite a few, okay, well, I guess there wasn't in my case, but oftentimes there's going to be quite a few pillagers waiting here for you guys, so just be careful once you actually go through. However, on this side though, what you want to do is place down 2 chests right there, and then 2 chests right there as well. Break some of these extra blocks. Now what you want to do is take some glass, or actually first place some temporary blocks on top of the chests, and then just take some glass and place it around those temporary blocks like that, and then doing the exact same thing on this side. There we go. Now on one of these 2 sides, build up a temporary block and then place 2 glass blocks just like that. And then on the other side, you want to place down 1 piece of glass right there. Now here's what we have to do. I'm actually going to go into survival mode for this next part. What you want to do is jump into this portal, place this piece of glass here, and then 2 buckets of lava on both sides. This is going to kill the pillagers once they run through and keep it fully closed off. So quickly go in, place the glass and the 2 buckets of lava like that. And then I'm going to go through the portal. And now anytime any of the pillagers run through any one of these 4 portals, as you're going to see, I'm actually going to push this guy through to show you really quickly, or I'll spawn one. Once they end up going through, as you can see on this side, they do get lit on fire and then they will die. And like I mentioned, the items will be popped back through the nether portal. Now, the final step to this farm, you can remove your infinite water source. The final step to this farm is making the collection system. So that's what we're going to work on right now. And like I mentioned, you want to do it at the portal that you originally went through. So for now, you want to break that portal and then place 3 pieces of dirt on that side to stop the water. And then if you want to just set yourself up a little box to make sure no pillagers are able to come over here and kill you, that is definitely not a terrible idea. Now, the first thing you want to do is break out those 6 blocks, then break out those 6 blocks there as well. Now you want to place down 1 chest right there, and then come underneath and lead your 3 hoppers into that chest, just like that. And then you can actually go ahead and break that chest because we're just going to be placing it back later, but we don't need it right now. Now, replace all of those blocks. What you want to do is push some hopper minecarts inside of these pieces of obsidian. So when the items pop through, they instantly get pushed back, or they instantly get picked up, and put into the chest. So what you want to do is break 1 piece of obsidian, place 3 rails like that, and then break that rail and place a piece of obsidian back over top, and it should be curving into it like this. Now, when you place down your hopper and you push it, it is going to glitch inside of that obsidian. Now you want to do that for these other 2 blocks as well. So do the exact same thing on the outside first. There we go. Making sure it's all the way. And then doing that same thing 1 more time for this middle piece of obsidian. Now, once you have all 3 of those inside of here, just break both of those blocks, replace your chests, and then fill this in, and this is your collection system. Now, obviously, you can go ahead and break all of these temporary blocks. There we go. Light the portal, break these temporary blocks, and there you go. Your easy ominous bottle farm is done. Now, one more thing I recommend you guys do is making a couple more iron golems in the center. For me, I'm going to do 4 iron golems. And this just ensures that all of the pillagers around the outside are actually able to see the iron golems and get attracted towards the middle, because that is one of the slowest parts of this farm, is actually waiting for the pillagers to see the iron golems. Once they do, it gets pretty efficient, so just place a couple of them inside of here. Now, as for the AFK location, what you want to do is come over to this chest, and then I'm just going to grab some scaffolding actually. Run a little ways away to the corner of the farm, something like this, and then you want to build anywhere between 100 and 126 blocks into the air. So for me, I am at Y level 75. I'm going to go up 120 blocks, so I'll end at Y 195. All right, there we go. So I'm at Y level 190. And if I look over the edge, you can see, I'm actually going to FOV 30 this. You can see all of the pillagers are spawning in and then instantly running towards those iron golems in the middle. And just take a look at how efficient this farm is. I'm going to do a 1-minute AFK test here now to show you guys the raids. Okay, so that has been 1 minute at the farm now. I am going to hop down to the bottom and wait for all of the pillagers to die. And then you can go ahead and see how many drops we got inside of this chest. Okay, so I'm sure a lot more of them are still inside of there and dying as I speak. But here we go. From just 1 minute of using this farm, I got 3, 6, 7, 8 ominous bottles in 1 minute of using this farm. 8 times 60, whatever that is, I'm putting it on screen right now. That is how many ominous bottles you are able to get from this farm. Absolutely incredible, and definitely one of the best out there, sorry. With that, if you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And as well, you could download this exact world. It is the first link in the description. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. Hello and or welcome back. In this video, we're going to build this super easy gold piglin barter farm in Minecraft Java Edition. The first thing you want to do for this farm is dig out a U shape like you see on your screen here, placing 2 chests on the left or the right side, and then place hoppers leading into those chests. Now place 2 blocks in the middle. This can be any block. I'm just using glass because I think it looks nicer. And then you want to place 6 more blocks around the 2 side hoppers, creating little chambers for the piglin to sit inside. After you're finished with that, break this top block and make sure it is solid. Place a button on the front, and then come around to the back and place a redstone torch on the back of the block. And then take a dispenser and place it facing in the direction of the chambers, just like this. Now what you want to do is take your 2 carpets and place them on top of the hoppers so the piglin don't get stuck. And now the next thing we need to do is actually get the piglin inside of here. To do this, you're going to want some gold and some temporary blocks. What you want to do is place a temporary block right there, and then make some little 2-high chambers to temporarily put the piglin inside of here before dropping them down into the real thing. Once you've got that, just make a little staircase for them to run up, and then you want to throw some pieces of gold and slowly push them into the hole. It might take a little while to figure out. Try not to die like I did a couple times, but as you can see, once they pick it up, you can pretty easily push them inside. Now, once you get both of them inside of there, it's time to break the temporary blocks and drop them into the real chambers. To do this, of course, the first thing you need to do is drop down here and break these blocks first, actually dropping them inside. And then once you're done with that, you can go ahead and break the rest of the blocks. Now, the next thing you want to do is place a block over top of them, but as you can see, we cannot place down a block here. So what we need to do is place a temporary block there with a piston, and then you just push that block over top of them. Now, this block isn't necessary, but some of the items might fall out of the chamber if you don't add it, so I would recommend putting it here. Now, once you have those blocks on top, you want to take all of your gold and put it into this top dispenser. Place down a block right there, and then a block on top to make sure all of the gold stays contained on top of the pressure plate, and your farm is done. Now, to use the farm, all you have to do is hit this button. Now, make sure your pressure plate is made out of wood, not like stone. I was dumb. Stone is only activated by people, so make sure it's made out of a wood pressure plate. But now, when you click the button, the gold will land on top, be picked up, and then press the pressure plate. And then the gold will sit there until one of them picks it up, and then it'll shoot out another piece of gold. We're posting daily videos, so make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. This is the best fully automatic early game wood farm for Minecraft Java 1.21 edition. All of the bamboo will go into these auto crafters. You can then take that and craft it into wood planks. Here's the materials list, and let's get straight into the video. The first thing you want to do is dig the outline of an 8x5 hole on the ground. Then on the front, you want to break 2 blocks there. And then on the back, you want to break 2 blocks there. Next, place 4 redstone torches in all of those blocks that you just broke. And then we're going to place down the rail system to pick up the wood. So place down a powered rail right there, followed by regular rails all the way over to here, and then 1 more powered rail in front of that one, and do the same thing on the opposite side. Now coming over to this block, you want to temporarily break those powered rails, and then you want to break down 4 blocks. Actually 5 blocks. And then place an observer like that so the redstone dot is down, and then dig out to the side to get up on top of it. You then want to take another observer and place it on top of that one so this redstone thing on the back is clicking. Then take a dropper and place it on top of that, dropper, and then a dispenser on top of that right there. Now on these 2 blocks, you want to break it and then place a hopper leading into that bottom dropper, and this is going to dispense all of the items up. As you can see, when it gets picked up, all of the items are dispensed, which is then going to go down a water stream. Now for the top part, what you want to do is break these 4 blocks, and it doesn't matter which side you go on. Then place a crafter right there, and the direction of this crafter doesn't matter, you just want to click all 9 of these. Then take a redstone comparator and place it like that, making sure it lights up. Another one right there, and then a redstone repeater facing in that direction with a piece of redstone there. Then place a block there. Break both of these blocks in front of that comparator, and then place a crafter facing in this direction right there. And then you want to place a chest in front of that, and that's going to shoot the wood into this chest. Now the next thing you want to do is take 2 hoppers and place 1 on the crafter and then 1 leading into that hopper. Then take 2 blocks and branch out to the sides. Then take your 16 pieces of dirt and place them over top of these rails, and this is where we're going to be placing the bamboo. Now from there you want to take a row of blocks and place them on the bottom here, and this is optional, you don't have to do that one. But then place a row of blocks right behind the dirt like that, with a row of pistons on top of that to break the bamboo. Now go ahead and copy that exact same thing on the other side. Now that you're done with that, skip 1 block and then place an observer up here, and you want to make sure that observer is facing in this direction. Now copy that same pattern of every other block until you get to the end. And then of course do the same thing over here as well. Now you can do 1 observer if you want to, you don't have to do multiple. Just know that the bamboo will grow more before being broken, which will result in slightly less rates. Now place a row of blocks behind these pistons, and then place redstone on top of that so the observer can send a signal towards the piston. As you can see, anytime something's updated, the whole piston row goes off. And then of course, again, do the same thing over here. Now the next thing you want to do is make a 3 high wall here to make sure all of the bamboo stays inside of the farm. And then of course, again, do the same thing for the other side. We can now go ahead and plant our bamboo on the inside, so you want to place 8 pieces on both of the sides. And then block off the front and the back. I'm going to use glass for the front and solid blocks for the back, but you can really do it however you want. I'm also going to make a wall back here so it looks nicer, but you don't actually have to do that part. What you do have to do, however, is place a row of blocks on the top, again to make sure that no bamboo can escape from the farm. Now we're very close to done this farm. The next thing you want to do is place a row of blocks here on the inside. Do that on this side as well, and then you also want to place one more row of blocks right here, including over top of the dispenser, as items can get shot through. And they will get shot into this water bucket that we're going to place down right there, float into the hopper, and then down into the auto crafter. Now what you want to do to make sure the bamboo is able to grow is take some glowstone and place one piece on both sides so it has enough light. Now the final thing we have to do is dig under the ground and then place down our 2 hopper minecarts. And there we go, the entire farm is done, perfectly working. The bamboo is going to be produced, shot out the top here, go into the hopper, into the crafter, and then turn into blocks of bamboo, which we can then turn into planks. And this is, without a doubt, the best early game wood farm that you guys can have. You could download this world, it's the first link in the description, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. This is the #1 Wither Skull farm in Minecraft Java Edition. This farm will give you over 120 skulls an hour, and all you have to do is stand here and kill the wither skeletons. On top of all that, you collect the XP too. Let's get right into the video. For starters, you're going to have to find a nether fortress in either a warped forest or a soul sand valley. After you've found your nether fortress, you want to go to the highest point of nether brick. What you want to do is hit F3, take your Y value and subtract 2, and then keep track of that number. Now coming anywhere in the fortress does not matter. What you want to do is hit F3 and G, and your chunk border should show up. Now what you want to do is find a corner like this and then build out to that corner. Now a very important thing that I want to add here, I'm going to build out of smooth stone so you guys can easily count, but for this farm to work, it has to be built out of nether bricks. Make sure anytime you see me with smooth stone, you are building with nether brick blocks. Once you build out to the corner, you should have the chunk borders looking like this. Now what you want to do is go up to that Y value that we kept track of earlier, and then go ahead and place one chest on top of that pillar, and then one more chest in the other 3 chunks, so you have one chest in each chunk, and if you want to know, it should look like this. Then again, making sure that this is with nether brick, you want to build out 14 blocks in every direction. If you want to double check, when you build out 14 blocks, you should be 1 block away from the corner of the chunk, so it looks like this. Now the next thing you want to do is connect all of the corners just like this, and then fill in that square. After you're finished with that, going 1 block out from the corner, you want to place a wall, skip 2 blocks and place a wall, skip 2 and place a wall, and then continue that same pattern over the entire platform. Now coming to the middle of the farm, the chests, you want to look in the south direction, make sure you're looking south, and then you want to place down 1 temporary block there, and on the other 3 sides you want to place down walls, so you have a U shape of walls, and then you can break that temporary block. Now on top of those walls and the side that we left open, you want to place down a 4x4 square. We now need to get an iron golem inside of here, so what you want to do is place down 1 temporary block, and then your 4 iron blocks on top like this. Now what we're going to do is spawn the iron golem and then instantly push him inside of the hole. So what you want to do is spawn him, break the temporary block, and push him inside like this. Next, on the east and north sides of the square, you're going to want to place down your iron bars. So when you look east and when you look north, there are going to be iron bars on that side. You then want to take your 12 repeaters and place them down in a square like this. After you're finished with that, take your slabs and make a roof over top of your iron golem. Now come over to the one side we left open, fill in those walls, and then place 4 pieces of obsidian in front. Then place 4 stairs in front of that, and then 2 slabs on the side of the stairs. Now what you want to do is place walls from 1 piece of obsidian around the square to the other piece of obsidian. Now take your slabs, and 1 block away from the last wall, you want to place slabs on top of the walls. And again for this side, leave that 1 wall at the end. Now what you want to do is build 3 blocks of obsidian up on both sides with slabs on top so no mobs can spawn, and then place it across the top as well to create a nether portal. Now walk inside of your nether portal, and you're going to want to mark down these coordinates as well, as we're going to be using them later. You can now light the portal, but do not head to the other side. Very important, do not go through that portal. We're now done with that platform down there, and we need to get up to the nether roof. Now you can use blocks and ladders, but I'm going to use scaffolding just to make my life easier. You're going to want to dig up to the bedrock level, and what you want to do is hit F3 and look for the targeted block that reads Y level 127. Once you've found this piece of bedrock, take your ladders and build them all the way up to the corner, and then grab your ender pearl and simply throw it in the corner, and you will be able to jump up to the top. You then want to run over to those coordinates that we found earlier, so for me 528 and 2546. Once you found those blocks, you want to take your Y value, so for me 65, and you want to add 126 and then build up to that Y level. Once you build up to your Y level, what you're going to want to do is hit F3 and G to see the chunk borders again, and then build over to one of the corners. From now on, every block you place down is going to be made out of glass. What you want to do is take one glass block and place one in each one of the 4 chunks, and then extend that glass platform 2 blocks in every direction. Once you're finished with that, you can turn off your chunk borders, then go on top of your pillar and build up 4 blocks, and then 2 blocks in towards the platform. Now, off of this last glass block, you're going to want to make a regular size nether portal. Again, making sure to place slabs on top so no mobs can spawn. Once you're finished with that, you want to make a wall behind the nether portal, so just take some glass, build it all the way down on both sides, and then you can leave it one from the bottom if you want. And then right behind that, you want to make another wall. Now coming around to the front side, what you want to do is place 2 more blocks underneath of the portal, with 2 trapdoors right there, and then 2 slabs right here, and this is going to be the killing chamber for the farm. Now you're going to want to turn around over here and place some ladders to get up and down, and then climb up those ladders. You now want to go 19 blocks out in the opposite direction of your nether portal. Once you're finished with that, you're going to want to make another nether portal over here. Again, making sure to place the slabs on top so no mobs can spawn. Now for this part, I would highly recommend placing some blocks behind the portal so when you come through here, you don't accidentally walk down the other side and fall to your death. And then I would extend this path a little bit as well. Now running over to the other side, you're also going to want to extend this path a little bit. Come into the portal and place 1 door on the left side, making sure it is on the front of the block, and then place down a wall in the other block. For the third and final time, you're going to want to go inside of that portal and then write down these coordinates. Once you've done that, you can light the portal and head on through. Once you make it to the other side, no matter where you end up, you are going to want to break this portal and then head over to your coordinates. Now it's time to do a little bit of math. What you want to do is take those coordinates, the X and Z values you want to multiply by 8, and then the Y value you want to subtract 1. You should already be pretty close to these coordinates, but you're going to want to head over to those right now. Now, once you've gotten up to your coordinates, you want to look in the south direction and then build out 10 blocks. Now, at the end of this block, you're going to want to make yourself a 3x3 nether portal. Now, once you've gotten this, run over to the other side, and on top of this block, you want to make another 3x3 nether portal. You should have one nether portal higher than the other now. Now, what you want to do is extend this bridge so it's 3 blocks wide. And then you're also going to want to place 2 strips of blocks here. Now, walking over to the elevated portal, you want to place down 3 slabs like that, and then you can light that one. Turning around to this side, what you want to do is place 1 block back here, a wall off of that block, and then 1 more block just like that. Then come into the portal and place down 3 cobwebs right there to slow down the wither skeletons because they are too fast, and then walk through this portal. Now, all you have to do is close that door, make sure you close it, and then run over here and light this nether portal. This is the portal that you're going to go through when you want to get to the farm, and if it's underground, you can go ahead and move it up to the surface. Now, your farm is done. All you have to do is make sure that your game is on easy, normal, or hard mode for the best drops. Also, if you want to make a storage system, all you have to do is place 2 chests here, and then place 2 hoppers on top. Although I would highly recommend expanding this because this will fill up very fast. I would also recommend you get yourself a very good sword, preferably one with sharpness and sweeping edge, but most importantly, looting 3. Now the mobs should take about 2 to 5 minutes to start coming through, and that's because, as you're going to see in this clip, there are a ton of them that have to fill up on this bridge and then eventually push their way through. I had to wait 4.5 minutes, but my first wither skeleton are now starting to come through, and all you have to do is walk up to these guys and kill them. Now a couple seconds after that, you should see a ton of wither skeletons falling through here, and then very quickly you are going to be able to collect yourself your first wither skeleton skull. That's all for today's video. We're posting daily, so make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. In this video, we're going to build the easiest fully automatic super smelter in Minecraft Java or Bedrock Edition. As well, this farm can be as big or as small as you want it to be, and let's get straight into the video. The first thing you're going to want to do is place down 2 chests, and then however many hoppers you want, 1 for every furnace. For me, I'm going to do 8, but like I mentioned, you can do it as big or as small as you want. Then with your furnace or your blast furnace, go ahead and place 1 on top of each one of the hoppers. And then come around to the back and place 1 hopper into each one of the furnaces. Finally, come on top of the furnaces, and then place 1 hopper on top of each one of those. Make sure each hopper is leading into its own designated furnace. Now coming to the side without the chest, you want to place 1 block on the end of both of the hoppers, and then place 2 more blocks here just like this. You then want to take a redstone torch and place it underneath both of these blocks. Now we're going to do the similar thing on the other side, but this time instead of 1 block out, you're going to want to place 2 blocks out for both of the hoppers. So 2 blocks there, 2 blocks there, and then 1 more block on the end just like this. This time instead of redstone torches though, what you want to do is take a lever and place it on the front, and that's how you're going to start and stop the farm. We now need to make the tracks for the minecarts, so what you want to do is put a powered rail right there, and the normal rails going all the way down. You can do fully powered rails, it's just cheaper doing it this way. You then need to create a second track down here, but the problem is these rails are always going to end up connecting to each other, no matter how you do it. What you need to do is place that powered rail and then place the second rail first and then the first rail. And then they shouldn't connect, and you can continue it down to the other side. And then of course again place a powered rail. And when you flick that lever, you should see they both turn on and off. Now the final thing you want to do for this area is place down a hopper into that second track, and then place down a chest or a double chest on top of that hopper. This is where all of your fuel items are going to go. Now take your 2 hopper minecarts and place them on both of the tracks, and your super smelter is done. Now to use it, what you want to do is put all of your fuel, this can be any fuel type, up in this top chest, and you'll see it starts to go into the hopper minecart, and then take the item you want to smelt and put it into this front hopper minecart. Then when you flick this lever, you're going to see all the items are evenly distributed across all of the furnaces. As you can see, they all have a similar number of items, and then once all of these furnaces are done smelting their item, it gets picked up from the hopper below, and all of these smelted items go down inside of this chest. That's all for today. We're posting daily videos, so make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. In this video, we're going to build the easiest auto sorter for Minecraft Java and Bedrock Edition. As well, this farm can be as big or as small as you want it to be. Let's get right into the video. Throughout this video, anytime I say 5, you can just expand that to however big you want the sorter to be. The first thing you want to do is place 5 sets of double chests on the ground and then make that 2 chests high. Now coming around to the back, place 1 hopper leading into the bottom chest and 1 leading into the top. Once you're finished placing all of those hoppers, 1 block away from them, you're going to want to place down 1 block behind each hopper, and then place down 1 redstone torch on each block. Then coming around to behind those, you're going to want to place 1 repeater behind every single one of the blocks. and then 1 block behind every one of the repeaters. Then go ahead and place 15 blocks just like this. And then you're going to want to place 3 pieces of redstone and place them in those spots. And of course, expand that for the entire platform. You then want to take your redstone comparators and place them, making sure that the 2 sticks are facing towards the hopper. Now take a hopper and make sure it's leading into the comparator. That's very important. Make sure it's leading into it. And then of course, do that for your other spots. The next thing you want to do is put 1 chest at the end, and this is where all of the garbage items are going to go that don't have a spot to be sorted. Now take 5 more hoppers and place them over top like this, and then 1 final chest on top, and this is where all of the items are going to be put in to actually be sorted. I'm going to go ahead and sort these 5 items. Of course, you can do whatever you want, but what you want to do is go up to this hopper, the one that's leading into the comparator, and you want to put 4 random items in here. Just make sure you're not sorting that item, and then put your solid item in here, and you should see it goes all the way down to 41, and it should stop flowing in there, and then the items go into this chest. You then of course want to repeat that same process for all of the items you want to sort. I'm now going to take my 5 items and put them up here, and then I'll also put 1 random item. Each one of those 5 items are going to be properly sorted into the chests, and then the random item is going to go into the junk chest at the end. It should be done sorting by now, and coming through, you can see all of the items are in the proper chests, and then the wood, my random item, is down here at the end. That's all for today's video. We're posting daily, so make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. Emeralds are the most important ore in Minecraft, so today I'm going to give you guys 3 very good yet unique emerald farms in Minecraft Java Edition. Farm 3 is a raid XP farm, and on top of all of the other things you get like XP totems and enchanted books, this farm will give you about a stack and a half of emeralds per raid, which is over 10 stacks of emeralds an hour. And remember, this is the worst of the 3 farms on this list, so make sure you stick in there till the end. The first thing you want to do is break a 5x5 square in the ground. Then on any corner, place 4 blocks like this, and then 4 blocks there as well, with 2 slabs here, 1 sign right there, and then turn around and place a bucket of water in that corner. Now jump over to the dry spot, and on either one of these 2 blocks, break it and place a top slab, and then dig down 3 and the 2 below that. Now you want to dig a 3x3 square right over here. And the first thing for this section is placing down a torch, then place a bed right there, and any workstation right there. You now want to take a sign and place it right there. Break these 3 blocks, and then place 2 chests in the first 2 spots, and then a hopper in that 3rd spot. Now take a bucket of water and place it right there. Next, you want to take a boat and drive it as far into this corner as you can. Look to the left and then jump out of the boat. Now place down a cauldron right there, a bucket of lava inside, and then a trapdoor on the front. Now turn around and break 4 blocks this way, 2 blocks back up to the surface, and then place down your 3 ladders and trapdoor to get in and out of the farm. Now the final thing we have to do is get a villager down that hole, so ride him in a boat into the water, and then break the bow and he will go down on his own. He should pick up the profession that's down there, and then you can place your bucket of lava right there. Now if you come down here, as you can see, he has the profession and he's inside of the boat. And now using the farm is very simple. All you have to do is drink your ominous bottle, and then go down the trapdoor. The raid will take about 30 seconds to start, and then about 30 seconds after that, your first mobs will go into the boat, wait till you hear 5 ticks, and then hit them so no vexes are able to spawn. Now it's time for the raids, and we're going to do 1 full raid on hard mode. If you didn't know, the higher your difficulty, the more levels of raids you're going to get. So we're on hard mode to get the best rates, and we're going to see how many emeralds we get from this method. And there we go, 1 full raid is complete, and let's check out how many emeralds we got. So from just 1 raid, we were able to get a stack and a half of emeralds on top of 21 levels, 7 saddles, and 6 totems. And to start a new raid, all you have to do is drink another bottle and the whole thing is done again. Farm 2 relies on a very unique trick where you can buy glass from a librarian, turn it into glass panes, and then sell it back to a cartographer to double your emeralds every single time you do it. And with this method, I got over 15 stacks of emeralds in 1 hour. For this farm, you want to start off by breaking 8 blocks, leaving 1 in the center. Break those 2 blocks and replace them with pistons, and then place 2 redstone dust right there, 2 levers there, and then flick them both on so the pistons extend up. Now you want to place a cartography table on the one side and a lectern on the other. Running around to the back now, you want to take 2 trapdoors, place them here, and open both of them up. Now I'm going to use glass, but you can use any material that you want. You want to place down 5 right there. Then build up 2 blocks and over 1 to put a roof over top of the villagers, and make sure this is solid so the zombie villagers don't burn. You now need to get both of your villagers into those 2 spots. Now the easiest way that I've found to do this is just with a boat, get them close, and then box them in with some dirt, break the boat, and eventually they will run into the spot. You can then close it off, and then just break all of your temporary blocks. Now of course do the same thing for the other side. Once you have both your villagers in here, they should take the profession of the thing that is in front of them. That's exactly how it should look. You now want to run around to the back, and we need to get a zombie back here. So the first thing you want to do is build up to that level, and then place blocks across, and you can break those blocks there. You now want to break 2 blocks in both directions. And this is how we're going to get a zombie in. What you want to do is wait for it to turn nighttime, get the zombie, and then lead him through like you see on screen right now, blocking him in from both ends, and then take a name tag and place it on him so he doesn't despawn. Now to use the farm, you are going to need to get specific trades from these guys. The cartographer is a level 2 trade, so you're going to want to trade with him until he levels up once, and he should have a glass pane trade like you can see here. Now the librarian's a little different. It is a level 3 trade, so you are going to have to trade with this guy quite a bit more before you are able to see the correct trade. Now for me, I did not get the right trade as you can see here. So what you're going to have to do is unfortunately kill that villager and start over again. As you can see, this new villager has a glass trade, which is exactly what we're looking for. Now come over to the cartographer's lever, flick it down, and the zombie will kill the villager. We don't actually ever have to do this to the librarian. I just added another system over there because it's useful to have. Now make sure you're on hard mode when you do this, otherwise he might not turn into that zombie villager. But once he is, you can just throw the potion of weakness and golden apple, and then when he cures, he will have cheaper trades. Now you want to place down a crafting table, and then go to the librarian and buy as much glass as you can. You then want to turn that glass into glass panes, and then take those glass panes and trade them back to the cartographer to double the amount of emeralds that you had. You can then of course repeat that same process as many times as they'll allow you to get infinite emeralds. I started with 3 emeralds and I have 12 just after doing this twice. The number 1 emerald collection method in Minecraft is this very simple string duplicator, where you take the string, sell it back to a farmer, and you can get half a stack of emeralds in 1 minute, which is over 25 stacks an hour. For this farm, start off by making sure you're facing in the south direction, very important, and then go ahead and break these 6 blocks. Place 2 chests in the first 2 spots, and then 4 hoppers leading into those chests. Now come back around to the front and place 4 open trapdoors like this. And then follow the pattern of blocks that I placed down here. And then go ahead and make it 2 blocks high. Now you want to place down 2 temporary blocks here, with 2 trapdoors on it in this direction. Then place a block right there with a lever on the front, and then flick it down to open the trapdoors. Now take your 2 tripwire hooks and place them on these 2 blocks, and then place your 2 buckets of water here. Now of course again, this farm does require a villager, so you want to get one of those over to the farm. Go ahead and break down 4 blocks here, with a barrel at the bottom, and then you want to just box in your villager again with dirt or whatever you want to do to get him down that hole. As you can see, he walked down on his own and he picked up the right profession, so you can go ahead and break your dirt, and then make sure he has a string trade and place a trapdoor over top. Now to start the farm, you want to hop up here and place 2 pieces of string like that, and then make sure you're facing in the east direction, crouch, and then with your shears break that first string, and then flick the lever and the string duplicator is working. We're now going to use this for 1 minute to see how many emeralds we'd be able to get. It's been 1 minute, so I can go ahead and turn the lever off, and let's see how much string we got. So we got a ton of string from just 1 minute of using this farm, and let's see how many emeralds this comes out to. So 1 minute at this farm was able to get me 27 emeralds, making this the best farm on the list. That's all for these 3 super easy emerald collection methods. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. And again, you could download this world. It is the first link in the description. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. Today we're going to build the easiest mob spawner XP farm in Minecraft Java Edition. It'll take literally like 10 minutes to set up, the mobs will be one hit, you'll collect the XP, and all of the drops will go down inside of this chest. With that, here's everything you're going to need, and if you want to download this world, you can find that down in the description. The first thing you want to do once you find your zombie or skeleton spawner is place some torches around just to make sure that no mobs are going to spawn while we build this. And then go ahead and place any type of slab on top so they don't spawn up here and get stuck. Now what you're going to want to do is run around to these chests and break them. And as well, you want to make sure that there are 4 blocks to each side of the spawner. So for me, I'm just going to have to remove 1 block from each side. Now once you're done digging all of that out, you should have 4 blocks to all of the sides. You want to first of all make sure that there are no holes in the roof or in the walls so none of the mobs can get out. And as well, you want to make sure that there is at least 2 blocks above the spawner. And as well, you want to dig 2 blocks below the spawner. Now, the reason we're doing this is just to make sure that all of the mobs are going to spawn inside of the box. They're not going to spawn in some caves that are nearby. Now that you have the whole area cleared out, what we need to do is push the mobs over to one of the sides. To do this, we're going to use water. It might be helpful to make yourself an infinite water source because we're going to need quite a few buckets here. Just go ahead and place 1 water bucket, skip a block and place another one, and do this all the way along one of the walls until of course you have reached the end. There we go. And now as you can see, all of the water is flowing until this final block right here. Now come back over to your infinite water source and grab a couple more buckets. And then what you want to do is come over to this dry block and you just want to dig it down by 1. Now after you're done with that, come to whichever side you want the mobs to be pushed to. So I want them to be pushed to this side. Turn around and place down a bucket of water right there. And once again, this will leave you with 1 single dry block. Now go ahead and dig that block, as well as those 3 blocks right there, and then the 3 blocks in front of that. Then place a piece of soul sand at the very back there, break that block and place a wall right there, and then go ahead and place down a sign at that block and then a sign at that block as well. So this is what it should look like from the side. Now go ahead and break that block right there, and that'll flow the water over top of this stair, or not the stair, the wall. So anytime the mobs spawn, they're going to be pushed down over top of this wall, and then they'll be pushed on top of this piece of soul sand. Now go ahead and break that back block right there. And what we need to do is dig up by 25 blocks. But right before you do that, I just want you to remember which side your spawner is on. So my spawner is in this direction, so just go ahead and remember that. And now what you want to do, like I said, is dig up 25. So that's 1, 2, 24, and 25. So now that you're 25 blocks up, what you want to do is go in the opposite direction of your spawner. And then you want to go ahead and break those 6 blocks in front of you. Now that you're done with that, take a sign and place it down right there. Place a bucket of water right there. And then what you actually want to do is come on top of these blocks that you pillar up with and just go ahead and dig all the way back down to the bottom. Now, once you get back down here, what you want to do is grab all of your kelp and bone meal if you feel like it, because what we need to do is make all of these water blocks source water blocks. To do that, you can either take a bunch of kelp and just keep growing it up, or what you can do is just take a bunch of bone meal and just keep bone mealing it all the way until it's at the top. Now, once you can't bone meal it any further, or once you finish placing all your kelp, just go ahead and break all of that. And then once you head up here, it'll be a bubble elevator like this, which will then push the mobs over to this block. And now what you want to do is dig down 23. So 1, 2, 21, 22, 23. So there you go. It should now look like this. You went up 25 blocks and down 23. Now, once you're down here, what you want to do is just make yourself a nice little AFK room. And of course, you can make this however big or small you want. Now, once you're done with that, go ahead and break the block underneath this drop chamber. And then you want to place a hopper leading into that side block, and then break both of those side blocks and place a single or a double chest. Now what I'm going to have you guys do is break down a couple of these blocks, and this is where you're going to attack the mobs. Then go ahead and place 2 blocks right there, and then 2 slabs just like that so they cannot see you. And now they're going to fall all the way down, and then they're going to be 1 hit right here. You're also going to want to take some torches and place them on the walls so no mobs spawn. And then also it's not a bad idea to place a carpet over top of this just so no XP gets stuck inside. Now the final thing you need to do is dig back over to your spawner room. Again, that's why we remembered which direction it was. Go ahead and break all of your torches, and there you go, your mobs are now going to start to spawn, so do your best and get out of here as quick as possible. And as well, go ahead and block up your infinite water source, as you're not going to need to use that anymore. As you can see, the mobs are going to get pushed down into this bubble column all the way up. They're going to fall down, and then once they do, all you have to do is smack them once. You collect the XP, and then of course all the drops go down inside of this chest. This Bonemeal Farm is 100% AFK. You can leave your computer overnight and come back to double chests full of bone meal. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. The first thing you want to do for this Bonemeal Farm is dig a 2x5 hole in the ground, and then make that hole 4 blocks deep. Now on either one of the shorter sides, go 1 block to the left and dig another 2x5 hole here. This one only 2 blocks deep though. Once you're finished digging these holes, come to this side over here and place down 2 chests. Then place a hopper leading into the chest, 2 droppers facing upwards on the hopper, and then 1 dispenser on top of those. You then want to place 2 temporary blocks right here, and place a downward facing observer right here. Make sure the arrow is facing down. Now place a solid block right there. Turn around and place a redstone repeater like that, and then tick it once. Then place 4 pieces of redstone like this, and then 2 comparators like you see here. Now break these 2 blocks up here. Place redstone in the first one, a redstone repeater in the second one, and then a redstone torch up here. Hey, sorry, Editor Blazed here. You also want to place a piece of redstone right there. The next step is to come over here and place down 4 blocks like this, and then 1 in that corner. Then take a redstone comparator and place it like this so the 2 prongs are facing into the dropper, 2 pieces of redstone there, and then 1 redstone torch on the side of that block. Now come in front of the observer on this side, dig 3 blocks this way, and then 1 to the right, kind of in an L shape, and then dig this 2 more blocks down for a total of 3 blocks deep. Now drop into the hole and place 1 hopper leading into that dropper, and then continue placing hoppers at the bottom of this hole. Once you're done that, place 2 composters on top of these hoppers, and then 2 more hoppers leading into those composters. You can now go ahead and fill up all the holes. Of course, this can be any block that you want. I'm just using smooth stone, so it's easy for you guys to count. You also want to make sure not to place a block right here, but you can place them everywhere else. We're now going to work on the outline for the farm, so start by breaking these 2 blocks and then placing some in its place. And then do the same thing on this side for 6 blocks, so the whole strip is 10 blocks long. Then go 7 blocks this way, so the whole rectangle is 10 blocks by 8 blocks long. We're now going to make an outline around the structure, so start by placing a line of blocks on the side with the redstone torch. Then place 3 furnaces or obsidian here, but furnaces are a lot cheaper, a solid block, and then 3 more furnaces. Then continue these blocks all the way around until you get to here, and then go in 1 and then over 1 again. Now place 3 regular pistons here, a regular block, and then 3 more pistons. So the outline should now be looking like this. You now want to make that outline 2 blocks tall to make sure that none of the drops fall out of the farm. We're now going to continue the stone generator, so come down to this block and place a line of stone. Now place a solid block right there, and then a bucket of water right there. Now take your solid blocks and place a line of them on top of the stone, and then place 2 buckets of lava in both of these corners. Once you're finished with that, come to the middle dispenser and place all of your bone meal inside. You need about 10 bone meal, you don't need a lot, it's just to get the farm started. Now place a moss block on top of the dispenser, and then turn over here and place a line of blocks. Now take 2 buckets of water and place them on both sides to push the items into the hoppers. Now you're only going to have to do this part once, but you do want to fill in this area with stone. This is just to get the stone generator started and have the farm working. Now coming around to the back side, you want to place 10 blocks behind these pistons, and then 2 more blocks right there. Now come over here, place a block there and break that one, and then place a lever on top of this block. Now put a redstone torch on the side, and then turn around here and place 3 repeaters facing in this direction, and tick all of them all the way. Then place 1 more repeater and just tick it once, and then place redstone on the remaining blocks. That should have created this redstone clock, but for now you can go ahead and turn it off. Now come back over to the side with the redstone torch and break all of these blocks. Then place a block on top of the redstone torch and continue placing them across. Then place 7 pieces of redstone here, and once you place that 7th piece, you should see the redstone line turn on. Now go ahead and place trapdoors not on this block, but on this block right here. And place 7 of those going across as well. Now for this next part, you might want to make an infinite water source because we are going to need 7 buckets of water. You want to take 1 bucket and place it in front of each one of the trapdoors. Now the final thing you want to do for this farm is come around to the side with the furnaces, go 4 blocks away, and then just make yourself a staircase down to your chest. To use the farm, all you have to do is take 1 piece of bone meal and bone meal a piece of moss in the middle, and then turn around and flick this lever on. The farm is now fully AFK and gonna run until you stop it. If your farm doesn't start right away, don't worry. For me, it took 12 minutes for the farm to start giving me bone meal. This is because it doesn't start by going into the chest, it starts by feeding it back into the system, into this dropper. Once this dropper fills up to about 40 items, that is when it starts going into the chest. So if you have some extra bone meal lying around and you want to speed up the process, chuck it inside of there and you should start producing bone meal right away. You'll know it's working if you see this redstone torch flicker and the bone meal has gone into your chest. This is the best TNT diamond mining method in Minecraft Java 1.21+. If you want to download this world, that is the first link in the description. This TNT Duper will literally take you 5 minutes to set up and can get you over 200 diamonds an hour, so make sure you stick in there till the end of the video. For the best rates, you want to dig out a 4-block high room that is between the levels -49 and -53. So once you've got your area dug out, go 1 block from the wall and then place down 3 ancient debris right there, and then 3 solid blocks like that. Now you want to place a piston like that, and then an observer right there so the arrow is facing into the piston and the face is facing away. Now place down a wall right here and you should see that piston extends once. Place a top slab there, a piece of slime on top, a solid block, and then another piece of slime on top of that. Then walk over here and place down a piece of TNT there first, and then take a dead coral fan, and this can be any type of coral fan, doesn't matter, and you want to place that down right there. Next, come around here, skip 1 block, so if you're counting here, that's going to be skipping 1, and then on this block here, place an observer like that so the dot is facing upwards, with a slime block on top, and then a sticky piston facing backwards. Now place a slime block on that piston, and then you want to place a regular piston on the end of that slime block like that. Then place another slime block right there, and then 1 more regular piston just like that. Then finally, what you want to do is take your note block and you want to place it on top of that piston right there, and then take an observer and shift and place it into that note block so the red dot is facing away. And to use the farm, all you have to do is click this note block, but you don't want to do that just yet. For your final slime block, you want to come over here and place it on top of this dead coral fan, just like that. Now place down a slab right there, and then for the final step, we need to push a minecart and a detector rail onto this block, but if we just place it there, it's going to activate the TNT. So what you want to do is place down a couple temporary blocks like that, Then what you want to do is take your detector rail and place it right there with your minecart on top of it. Take a piston and place it right there so it's facing towards it, and then place your redstone torch underneath. Break that, and then go ahead and break all of your temporary blocks. And there you go, the TNT duping miner is done. Now all you have to do is come over here, hit this note block, the TNT will be duplicated, blow up there, and then the whole machine is going to move forward. And make sure to wait until that TNT blows up before you click it again, otherwise part of the machine might break. And as you can see, we were already able to find diamonds using this, and of course you can use this thing forever and it is never going to run out of TNT. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. You could download this world. It's the first link in the description, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. The other day, Dash Pump 4's effortless Enderman farm popped up in my recommended feed. I checked it out and thought, I can make this even simpler, so that's exactly what I did. This is what I believe to be the simplest Enderman XP farm in Minecraft 1.21+. Despite its simplicity, in 1 minute I got 20 levels, in 5 minutes 45 levels, and in just 10 minutes of using the farm I got 63 levels. It only took 20 minutes to set up, and if you want to test it before building, there's a world download link below. Here's the materials that you'll need to build the farm, and if you enjoy, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos. Now, after you've killed the Ender Dragon, you want to make sure you are on the edge of the island when you're building this farm. Doesn't matter which edge. And ideally you have your spawn platform, but again, that is not necessary. What we need to do is start by going down to Y level 1, and the easiest way to do that is to take a bucket of lava, wait for it to flow to the bottom, and then take a bucket of water and you want to place it beside that, creating a cobblestone pillar. And then once that's done, you could hop to the bottom and place some ladders going all the way back up to the top. Now, after you're done doing all of that, you want to hop back down to the bottom. And for this, make sure you're using some block that Enderman cannot teleport onto. I recommend leaves because they are without a doubt the easiest to collect. What you want to do is go 2 stacks of leaves or 128 blocks away from the island. And real quick, if you guys are wondering why we have to go this far out, as you can see, a ton of Endermen are spawning on this platform. But once I back up to 128 blocks, they all despawn, leaving all of the Endermen inside of our farm. So coming to the end here, what you're going to want to do is place down 1 chest like that, with 1 hopper leading into that chest and a carpet on top of that hopper. Now, I would highly recommend extending this as much as you want. I'm just going to do a little bit to keep it simple, but obviously you expand this however much you want to make sure you don't fall off the edge of the map. Now, what I'm going to have you guys do is place down a temporary block right there with a slab like that, so there's a half gap, and then place 3 solid blocks in these 3 positions, just like that. Now, what you want to do is go up 2 blocks, and this can be made out of whatever you want, it doesn't really matter. You want to place a block right in the middle there, and then just place 4 blocks around this center one here. So there's a 1 block gap. And again, if you want to fill in this gap, that is totally okay as well. Now, the final time you want to come up here and do the exact same thing, but this time you want to go up 2 blocks like that again, and then just place 3 leaves on these 3 sides, leaving the opposite side of the chest open. So after you're done with all of that, it should look something like this. Now, this is good, but what we now want to do is make sure that no Endermen are able to teleport back here and actually kill us, which is why we're going to grab our water bucket. And what you want to do is come off to the side here and just make yourself a nice little infinite water source, because this next part will take quite a few buckets of water. Now, from here, what you want to do is waterlog all of these leaves here to make sure that Enderman cannot teleport. Any leaves in this direction. As well, you want to waterlog these 3 leaves up here. And then from this block, you want to do 30 leaves in this direction, because Enderman can teleport up to 30 blocks away. So that's 1, that's 2, and you want to do that 30 times. 9, 30, there we go. And that just ensures that no Enderman can teleport and kill us. Perfect. Now, after you're done that, you can go ahead and remove your infinite water source. And we're now going to get started on the spawn platform for the Enderman, because this is actually this area done. Now, if you want to make sure the Enderman cannot accidentally hit you there, you can also add 2 slabs just like that to again ensure the Endermen are not going to be able to reach you. But for now, I'm actually going to break those. And what you want to do is come to either the left or the right side, doesn't matter. You want to build out 1 temporary block like that, and then 5 more in this direction. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 right there. And now we're going to start building with leaves. So you want to place 15 more leaves in this direction. So 1, 2, 3, 15. Now, once you have all of those leaves placed down out to there, what I'm actually going to do is break all of these temporary blocks. And now we're going to make the path for the Enderman to get up to there. So place 1 leaf on top of there, followed by 2 like that. Do that 1 more time. Oh, don't break it. Do that 1 more time. And if you want, you can destroy all of these blocks, although that doesn't really matter. I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. And then once you're up to this level, you can just make a nice little pathway for the Enderman to get into there. If you want to fill this in, that's okay, but they'll find their way there on their own. Hey, Editor Blazed here. One thing I forgot to mention, you're also going to want to add 2 leaf blocks right there with 2 buckets of water, just to make sure that when the Endermen actually run up this pathway, they're not going to run off the edge. They're all going to fall down into the hole. Now that you have the pathway for the Enderman to get back up, coming down to this end again, what you want to do is build another temporary, or I guess this can be leaves as well. Build in 1, 2, 3 more leaf blocks. And then you want to go towards your center area, and you want to place down solid blocks. This is where the Endermen are going to be spawning. So you want to place down 1 right here, and then 1 block right in line with this. And you want to extend both of these back 10. So that's 1, 2, 3, 10. And again, this should be in line with our site here. So how it's going to work, we are going to stand and look at the Endermen, and they're going to run towards us, but they're not going to get locked in place because this pathway is offset. So as you can see right now, if I go into survival mode and I look at all of these guys, they're going to come running up this path and then fall down into this area. Now this is working, but we can make it slightly more efficient by just adding some leaves around this so they don't fall off, which by the way, that's going to be 2 leaves in all directions. So we're going to go 2 leaves on the sides. And then you also want to go 2 leaves on the front and the back. And there you go. That is literally the entire Enderman XP farm. I'm going to show you guys how to use it now. So turning my game into easy, normal, or hard mode, you're going to see they'll start to instantly spawn over there. And then all I have to do is look them in the eyes, and they are going to come running towards me so fast that you're not even going to be able to kill all of them. This is the easiest cow farm in Minecraft. Not only does it take less than 10 minutes to set up, but it also automatically cooks the food and puts it down inside of this chest. Once you found the spot that you want to build the farm, the first thing you want to do is break 4 blocks in the ground, place 2 chests in the first spot, and then 2 hoppers in the other 2 spots leading into each other so all the drops go inside of that chest. Now starting on this second chest, you're going to want to place down 4 blocks like that, place 4 blocks this way, 3 blocks this way, and then 2 blocks this way so you have a shape like this. You now want to take all of these blocks up 3 more for a total of 4 high. Once you've got this, coming over top of the first hopper, you're going to want to break that block and place a dispenser facing in this direction with a bucket of lava inside of the dispenser. Now go ahead and place 2 signs above the dispenser and then 2 signs below the dispenser just like that. Now I'm going to place blocks here, but you don't actually have to. What you do want to do though is place 4 blocks on the second level up, just like that. And then up here, you're also going to want to break those 4 blocks and then extend it out 1 further, just like that. Now go ahead and place 2 blocks right there, and then place 2 buckets of water in those spots just like that. Now go ahead and place 1 piece of glass there, and I'm also going to put glass here just so I can see what's going on, but these 2 blocks are not necessary. And then place a solid block right there, and if you want, you can also cover this block up, but I'm actually going to keep this open. Now the final thing you want to do is take a sign, put it on the front right there. Now how this farm works, you're going to have big cows sitting up here, and you're going to breed them with some wheat. All the big cows are going to stay up here, but the baby cows are going to be pushed down inside of this area. Once the baby cows grow up, you can then flick this, dispensing the lava, which is going to kill them, automatically cook their drops, and then they all go inside of this chest. Now I'm going to fill in some of the blocks back here just to make it look nicer, although you don't actually have to do that part. We now have to get some cows inside of this 2x2 square up here. So to start off, I recommend making a 2 block wide staircase up to this area. And then what you want to do is temporarily place some trapdoors right here and open them up. Now you don't have to do this part, doesn't really matter. I just do this so the cows walk in on their own, but you can pretty easily also just walk them up and punch them in. You now want to get at least 2 cows up inside of this 2x2 square. There you go. And now I'm going to go ahead and break these trapdoors. And of course you can break your staircase down here as well. Now once you have both your cows inside of here, I highly recommend placing some fences over top of them to stop them from breeding for now. And what you want to do is get at least 20 cows up here. Now I wouldn't go too much over 20, otherwise they might start dying to entity cramming, and I wouldn't go too much under 20, otherwise the farm won't be very efficient. So it's pretty easy. All you have to do is click on the cows, and you're also going to want to temporarily block this up so all the babies don't fall down there, they actually stay up here. And then once you get about 20 cows up inside of here, you can go ahead and break the fences, remove these blocks, and the farm is done. Alright, I have about 20 cows up here now, so you can go ahead and break these fences. This is going to cause them to jump up and down, so if your device can't handle this, if it's too laggy, you can keep the fences over, it'll just be slightly less efficient. You then want to go ahead and break those 2 blocks that you've placed down, and then all you have to do is breed these cows. That's literally it. You just sit up here, you breed these cows. All of these guys are going to stay here forever no matter what. However, if you'll notice, all of the baby cows that are coming from these cows are now being dropped down here. And like I mentioned, when these guys end up growing up, you are going to be able to flick this lever, kill them, and then the cooked drops are going to go inside of that chest. Alright, now that the cows are grown up, if you have a fire aspect sword and looting, you can use that to get better drops. But since that takes a lot of work, all you have to do is flick this lever twice like that, and you can see all of the drops not only go inside of the chest, but all of the steak is also automatically cooked. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. I'm posting daily videos just like this one, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. Today we're going to build the easiest Froglight Farm in Minecraft Java and Bedrock 1.21. This farm can give you all 3 different types of Froglights, and it takes less than a half hour to set up. Let's get right into the video. This farm is built in a Bastion Remnant, and it is based around the Magma Cube spawner. The first thing you want to do is break the 2 things above the spawner, and then place 2 blocks there. Now underneath of the spawner, you want to place down 5 blocks. It might take 6 because you're going to place in the lava, but you want to go all the way down to there, and then go 5 blocks in all 4 of the directions. Once you're finished with that, you want to clear out all the blocks in this area. Don't forget to clear the ones on the top, and then start off by making a roof off of that top second block. The reason we do the roof first is so no mobs from above can fall down into the box and kill us. Once you're done with that, you're also going to want to do the floor and the walls. After you've got the box built, coming to either one of the 4 walls, you want to break out those 6 blocks, and then place down 6 blocks on the ground here. You then want to make a box around these 6 blocks, and this is where you're going to AFK. You can customize this however you want. I'm just making it as small as possible. Then place 5 blocks for the roof, and then place 1 of the blocks as a trapdoor to get in and out of the farm. The next thing you want to do is come over here and break these 9 blocks, and then go ahead and clear out all of the lava. You're also going to want to make sure to place some of the blocks on the outside so no more lava can come in. After you've cleared out all the lava, you want to make that 2 more blocks deep for a total of 4 blocks deep. Once you're finished with that, coming to the side where you placed the trapdoor, you want to break those 2 blocks right there, the 2 behind them, and then the 2 underneath, and place your 2 chests in that gap. Then go ahead and break these 9 blocks, and then place 9 hoppers all leading into each other, which all lead into that chest. Then place 9 carpets on top of the hoppers to make sure that none of the mobs get stuck, and then place a snow bucket here to break down the big magma cubes to their smallest form. You now want to take a piece of glass and place it over the chest so you can still open it up, and then put 1 solid block there. The next thing you want to do is come underneath of your trapdoor and break down to your chest. You are going to have to cover up some lava on the way down. Once you finish clearing it out, just take some ladders and place them so you can get up and down. The final thing you want to do is place 3 blocks here and then 3 slabs on top of that. Now to actually produce the Froglights, we have to get frogs down inside of the 3x3 hole to kill the magma cubes. I'm going to show you guys how to get all 3 different types, and the first thing you have to do for all of them is make yourself a nether portal. What you're going to need is a bucket of tadpole, and what you want to do is make a 2x2 square on the ground and then make it 2 blocks tall so it can't fall out. Then go ahead and place that bucket of tadpole inside and wait for it to grow up. Once the frog grows up, you can remove the water, break some of the blocks, and then get that frog into a boat and get that boat with the frog through the nether portal. Try not to go through the portal like I did here. All you have to do is break it, push him through the portal, and then once you go to the other side, push him into the 3x3 hole. So for this Froglight, you're going to want to be in a normal temperature biome. For this one, you're going to want to be somewhere cold like a snowy area. And then for this one, you either want to be in the nether or in a warm biome like the desert. I've decided to go with these 2 guys, and of course, the more frogs you have in here, the more efficient the farm is going to be. Now you can go ahead and break your nether portal and then go behind your area, and the farm is complete. Now to use it, all you have to do is go into easy, normal, or hard for the best drops, and then sit here. All of the magma cubes will see you, start jumping towards you, and then fall down into the hole. As you can see, this snow block breaks them down from their biggest to their smallest form, and then the frogs can turn them into Froglights. If you're noticing that the magma cubes can't see very well, you might just want to take these slabs and replace them with trapdoors. That's all for today's video. We're posting daily, so make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. TNT Dupers are undoubtedly the most fun way to clear out an area in Minecraft. So today, I'm going to show you guys 3 separate designs. A fully automatic TNT Duper, a manual TNT Duper that doesn't require any slime blocks or coral fans, and a flying machine TNT Duper. Now, once you've built 20 blocks into the air, to get started on the automatic duper, what you want to do is place down a sticky piston right there with 3 slime blocks coming off of it like that. Then take a fence and place it on the end with a piece of TNT underneath that, and then 3 more slime blocks just like that, so you kind of have 2 slime L shapes. Then take a dead coral fan and place it down right there. If this is alive, that's okay, just make sure it dies before you actually run the farm. Then take a detector rail and place it down there with a minecart on top of that. Now coming back here, you want to place down 2 temporary blocks like that, break that one and place 1 observer facing into that, and then break this and place 1 observer facing into that one, and your TNT duper is now working, as you can see, fully automatically duplicating the TNT and dropping it down. And once you want to turn the farm off, just come over here, break the observer, and then replace it again to restart it. So that is the fully automatic TNT duper, very easy to set up. Let's now get into the manual version that doesn't require any slime blocks or dead coral fans. So for this design, again, you're going to want to be at least 20 blocks into the air. The first thing you want to do is take 6 solid blocks and place them in a U shape like this. Break the 2 corners and then place 3 pieces of redstone like that. Now on the side with the redstone, you want to place down a piston beside that. And then on the opposite side, place down a temporary block there with another piston cornering that block there. Then coming over to this side, place 2 temporary blocks up, break the bottom one, and then place down an observer there. So the arrow is facing into the piston and the face should be facing up. Now coming over and standing on top of this piston, you want to place down an observer there, a note block, and then shift and place down another observer just like that. Now come around to the back with the redstone, and on the opposite side, so in front of the note block, you want to take down a trapdoor and place it on the bottom. So it is cornering this block here, and you can see it is a little bit higher there. Now coming around to the back side, right in front of this observer on the bottom, you want to place down a trapdoor, so it is a little bit higher than this block. And then again, standing on top of this piece of redstone, place down an observer there, so the redstone dot is facing into this redstone. Now take another observer and place it on the side of this piston, so the redstone dot is facing towards this. Place a piece of TNT on the side, and then finally place a note block on top of there, and a TNT should be duplicated. Now, every time you click this note block, the TNT is going to be duplicated. Try not to spam it too much though, otherwise the TNT might disappear from here. If that happens, oh, see, that is why you don't want to do that. Okay, there we go. I rebuilt it, and that proved my point beautifully. If you spam this too quickly, you might end up blowing up your own machine, so I would recommend only clicking it maybe once or twice every second. But as you can see, working perfectly every time I click this note block, 1 TNT is dropped. So for the flying TNT duper, again, you want to be at least 20 blocks off the ground. The first thing you want to do is place down your TNT with a wall on top, and then take an observer and place it cornering that TNT facing in the direction that you want it to fly. So I want it to fly in this direction, so that's why the face is facing that way. If I wanted it to fly in this direction, just take 1 observer, place it like that. You guys get the idea. So I'm going to place mine right there. Now from there, you want to take your slime blocks and place 1 right there, 1 right there, then connect them up like that, and then place 1 above it so it looks like this. Next, take your detector rail and place it facing in the direction of that wall with your minecart on top of it, and then take your dead coral fan or your regular coral fan, but just make sure it is dead before you actually start the TNT duper, and place it down right there. Now, coming around to this side, we're going to work on the actual flying machine part of it. So what you want to do is take a sticky piston and place it right there off of that block. Then place 3 slime blocks up like that, 1 in that direction towards this, and then take 1 more sticky piston and place it like that so it is facing into that slime block. So far it should look like this. We're now going to get started on the return station on this side, and then we'll work on the return station on the other side of the hole. So the first thing you want to do for this is place a piece of obsidian on the back of this slime block, with an observer on top of that obsidian facing in this direction, and then a block behind that observer with a lever underneath, and then you want to flick that on. And this is actually how you're going to send the flying machine over and start the whole system. That is all done by this lever. Now come on top of these blocks and place a piece of redstone on there, and it should be turned on because we flicked that lever. Then take a repeater and place it on top of the observer facing in this direction, and then set that to 2 ticks. And then you want to take a trapdoor, look towards the repeater, and then place it down right there, and it should be open. Now this doesn't have to be iron, it can be any trapdoor that you want. I just made it like this because you cannot manually move this trapdoor. It has to be moved by redstone, so you can't accidentally send the machine over. Now the final thing you want to do for this part is come underneath here and then place an observer like that, so the face is facing upwards. We're now going to work on the return station for the flying machine, which is what is actually going to send it back to this location, so it doesn't just fly off into the distance. Now, if you notice, I have a lot of TNT explosions underneath me because I did mess up this part quite a few times as it is pretty specific, so make sure to watch the video carefully. So come over to this observer and stand on top of it. As you can see, I'm at Y level 103, and since I want to go in this direction, my Z value should not change. So once I get over to there, I should be at 103 and 375. And of course, if you're going in a different direction, your X value should not change. So you can see over here, I'm at Y level 103 and my Z is 375, which is perfectly in line with this observer. Make sure this is right because that's why I messed up so many times. I had this block wrong. Now what you want to do is go back 1 block and then over 2, so you have a 2x2 square in front of your machine. Now in front of the TNT, you want to place an observer right there facing backwards, 2 pieces of redstone there, and then a redstone repeater there. Set this to 2 ticks. Make sure you do that, and this should be in front of your observer. Now in front of this, you want to place down a block right there with a trapdoor right there. Then take a temporary block and place it in front of that, and you should see this trapdoor opens and closes, which is what is actually going to send the machine back. And then take a piece of obsidian, place it on top, and break that block. Now every time the machine comes over here, it's going to hit this obsidian, which is going to stop. This is going to be activated, which is then going to send it back, and it's going to go back and forth as many times as you want. Also, if you'll notice, I did do this through a lava pit, which is exactly what I was talking about at the beginning. You can see everywhere else has dug down, but the lava does make it so the TNT cannot explode properly. So you're going to want to clear any of this out before building this machine. But as you're going to see, once this gets over to this side, the wall should hit the dispenser, and then this observer is going to line up with that trapdoor, and it will be sent back in the opposite direction. Now, of course, whenever you want to stop it, all you have to do is come over here, flick this lever, and it should stop once it gets over to here. That's all for these 3 different types of TNT dupers. If you enjoyed, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and as well, you could download this exact world. It is the first link in the description. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out. This is the easiest mob XP farm in all of Minecraft Java Edition, and here are the materials that you're going to need to build it. Ideally, this farm is going to be built somewhere flat where there's no big hills. As well, you don't want to build over top of a river because mobs cannot spawn in rivers. Now, once you found your building location, what you want to do is either take 2 stacks of scaffolding or blocks and ladders, and you want to build up into the air just to make sure that no mobs on the ground level slow down the right to the farm. Now, once you get up here to the top, what you want to do is make a 2x2 square with 3 blocks just like this. And then once you've done that, to either one of the sides, you want to continue this out 4 more blocks. So you have a shape that looks like this. Now, after that, what you want to do is come to these end 4 blocks and place down 2 sets of double chests just like that. And then you want to take 4 hoppers and place them on top of all of those chests. Now from here, go ahead and place 2 blocks down right there and then 2 slabs just like that. So now to use the farm, all you have to do is run up to here and you can start killing the mobs. Now once you've got this done, go ahead and place 4 slabs on top of the hoppers to make sure no XP gets stuck inside of the hoppers. Now we're going to make the drop chamber for the mobs next. So start off by placing down 6 blocks on these 3 sides, leaving the front open like this. If you want to fill in the corners, that is okay, but it's also unnecessary. Now on top of this, what you want to do is make another ring of blocks, but this time closing off the front, just like this. And then to make sure no mobs are able to hit you, you want to place down 2 trapdoors like that. So try not to walk off the back like I did. What you do is climb up here to use the farm and then run up here and you can slap the mobs without them being able to see you. Now on top of these 2 layers, what you want to do is extend this up 19 more blocks, so it's a total of 21 blocks tall. Once you're done with that, take your 8 stairs and place them on the very top blocks like this. And then once you have that, you also want to fill in these 4 corners with any solid block. Now from here, branching off of the stairs, what you want to do is build out 7 blocks in all 4 of the directions. And once you've got that done, go ahead and make a 2-block wall around the whole structure. Okay, so you should now have a plus shape that looks like this. We now need to create these spawning platforms for the mobs. So what you want to do is connect all of these corners, just like this, and then fill them in, and that will be the spawning platform in all 4 of the corners. Alright, perfect. So now we can have the mobs spawn, and we have the drop chamber made, but we actually need to get the mobs down into that drop chamber. So the first thing we need to do is come to these ends here and place down 2 buckets of water, and they should lead perfectly to right here. Now it might be helpful to make yourself an infinite water source beforehand because we are going to need quite a few buckets of water. And again, you of course want to do that in all 4 of the sides, so all of the mobs are going to get pushed towards the middle. Also, if you haven't already, you are going to want to fill in these corners just to make sure that no mobs get stuck there. Now, once you're done with that, we need to make sure mobs are actually able to walk into this water, and we do that by placing down trapdoors on both of these sides, and then opening up all of those trapdoors, and this will trick the mobs into thinking it's a full block, and then they just walk over and fall to their death. And again, of course, you want to do this for all 4 sides. So perfect, this part is done. Now one more thing I recommend you guys do, just to make sure no spiders clog up that center drop chamber, is placing down carpets in these positions, and this will stop all spiders from spawning. It's now time to make multiple layers of this farm. Really quickly though, if you're enjoying, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for weekly videos. And it's very simple. If you want to make more layers, all you have to do is build up 3 blocks and copy the exact same design over top of the one below. I'm going to do 3 layers, but you can do however many you want. If you've done this part correctly, all of your carpets and the layers should perfectly line up with each other, making sure all of the mobs are able to fall straight down. Now to work on the roof, all you need to do is make a 2-block tall wall around the platform. And then once you're done with that, you want to go up 1 block and over 1 block, and then make a roof right here. And there you go, your mob XP farm is done. Now the final thing you want to do is place some torches up here on the top, just to make sure that no mobs can spawn up here during nighttime. I'd also recommend placing some torches down here, just again to make sure no mobs are going to spawn and kill you. Now as you can see, a ton of mobs are falling down here, and all you have to do is slap them with a sword, you collect the XP, and then all of the drops of course go down inside of these chests. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe for weekly videos. As well, if you want a world download or a schematic and lightmatic, that is down in the description. And I'd recommend checking out one of the videos on your screen right now for even more good content. Let's be honest, nobody needs 10 billion gunpowder an hour. We just want something simple that fills our chests overnight. This is the simplest fully automatic creeper farm in Minecraft Java 1.21+. It takes less than 1 hour to build and will give you a full chest of gunpowder every hour of using it. Here's everything that you'll need to build the farm. Make sure to join our community of 55,000 subscribers for weekly Minecraft videos. You can also find world downloads and schematics down in the description. Ideally, you're going to build this farm over top of a body of water so no mobs on the mainland are going to be slowing down the rates. Now, once you find your location, the first thing you want to do is make a little platform down here on the water. The size of this platform doesn't really matter, just make it big enough so that you have space to run around. Once you're done making that platform, go ahead and place 2 chests at the back of it, and then you want to lead 9 hoppers into those chests. Now go ahead and take 9 campfires or soul campfires so it's more efficient, and put that on top of the hoppers. And I'm going to take a shovel and right click these to temporarily put out the smoke because it does get pretty annoying. Now the next thing you want to do is go up 1 block and then out 1 and make a ring around these campfires to contain all of the creepers inside, and then go ahead and make that ring 2 blocks tall. Now with any block, what you want to do is extend this out 2 blocks to all of the sides, but don't fill in the corners, so at the end you'll have a plus shape of blocks. So like I mentioned, we now have this plus shape with the hole in the middle. The next thing you want to do is make a 2-high wall around this shape. Sorry about the confusion, guys. This wall should actually be 3 blocks tall, not just 2 blocks tall. Now, once you're done making that wall, it should look like this, and the next thing we're going to work on is pushing the creepers towards the middle. First though, we don't want the water flowing over, so what you want to do is place a temporary block in the middle, and then 9 fence gates just over top like this. There we go. You can then go ahead and break that middle one because we don't need it, along with the block, and then go ahead and open up all 8 of these trapdoors. Now for this next part, I'd highly recommend either making an infinite water source off to the side, or just being close to a big body of water because we're going to need quite a few buckets of water. What you want to do is take those buckets of water and place them in all of the corners of the farm, and this will have the water flowing towards the middle and pushing those creepers down onto the campfires. Now once you're done with that, you can of course go ahead and remove your infinite water source, and this is that part of the farm done. We're now going to work on the area where the snowman is going to be sitting. So the first thing you want to do is place a block in that position right there, and then make the outline of a 5x5 square in the middle here. Now what you want to do is take 7 slabs and place them in a U shape like this, and then inside of the U you're going to want to place down a bed right there. Now from here what you want to do is take 8 fences and place them in a circle like that. You also want to place 2 fences up on all 4 of the sides just like this, and then go ahead and connect all of those fences in the middle. Now what you want to do is take a bunch of trap doors, and you want to place them on these walls right here, as well as those ones like that. Open all 10 of those up, and then repeat that for all 4 of the sides. Now right before we build these spawning layers for the creepers, we want to make sure that no mobs spawn on these blocks back here, otherwise something like this might happen and your farm is going to blow up. So to prevent that, what you want to do is take a bunch of buttons and place them on all of these exposed blocks right here to make sure that no creepers or regular mobs are able to spawn. The next thing you want to do is go 11 blocks out on all of the sides. And what we want to do is connect all of those in a perfect circle around the middle. Go ahead and follow the schematic on your screen right now to help you out with that process. Once you're done with that, you can also go ahead and fill in that circle, so it should now look like this. The next thing you want to do is come to the outside and make a 2-high wall around that circle. This is of course to obtain all of the creepers inside of the area, and of course block the light as well, so this should be a solid block and not a transparent block. We're now going to work on making sure that only creepers are able to spawn in this farm and no other mobs. First of all, we need to get rid of spiders, so what you want to do is take 4 slabs, and you want to place them in all of these spots. Now if you want to continue to do slabs, that is okay, but for the rest of this I'm going to use carpets. You want to count to a 1, 2, and then on this 3rd block place a carpet, and continue that for the whole circle. Now once you have this, spiders are no longer going to be spawning. We also want to make sure that skeletons and zombies do not spawn. To do that, you want to take some trapdoors and place it on the very top of this block. This is because creepers are not 2 blocks tall, so they can spawn, but skeletons and zombies will be in the trapdoor. In other words, they will not be spawning, only the creepers can spawn. While you're doing this, once you get to the middle section, you don't have to place any trapdoors because no mobs are going to be spawning here anyways. So you can just go ahead and skip this whole middle section. Now, right before we put the final roof over top of this, we're going to go ahead and get all of our snow golems into these 4 corners to actually shoot the creepers. So what you want to do is take any temporary block and place it in the corner right there, followed by 2 snow blocks, a carved pumpkin, and then go ahead and push this guy down into the corner like that. Go ahead and remove that, and then do that same process for all 4 of the sides. So there we go, all of our spawn proofing is done, and we have the 4 snow golems in the middle. Now the final thing you want to do is take a roof and place it over top of all of these trapdoors. Now right before we go ahead and cover up the center, making it dark inside and having creepers spawn, what you want to make sure you do is drop down here really quickly and light all of these campfires back on fire if you put them out earlier. This way the creepers are going to start to die right away if any of them spawn. With that, go ahead and cover up the middle as well, making it dark inside, and that will be the farm done. Now, once you're done placing that roof, just to make sure no mobs spawn up here during nighttime, you're going to want to take a bunch of torches and place them down all over the roof, making sure the whole thing is lit up. Now, it's also not a bad idea to come down here and place down some torches to make sure that no mobs are going to spawn. Now, something else that I'm going to do is actually place another U shape of blocks around the back here, just to make sure none of the drops spill out. I'm going to leave this here because I like seeing some of the creepers, but obviously you can do it however you want to. Now, the AFK spot is very simple. What we want to do is go somewhere towards the middle. It doesn't have to be perfect, but just get around. Perfect, there we go. And you want to build 115 blocks into the air. If you're over top of the ocean, that should take you to Y level 189. You're also probably going to want to take some ladders and place it going up to get up and down from your AFK spot. You can also use an elytra, bubble elevator, anything like that, doesn't really matter. And there we go, that's it for this simple creeper farm. As you can see, a ton of creepers are spawning down here. The snow golems are shooting them, the creepers are running towards the middle, and we are collecting a ton of gunpowder from this farm. This is the best drowned trident farm in Minecraft. It can give you upwards of 10 tridents an hour and is super easy to set up. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. It's very important that you build this farm in a river biome. This is because in ocean biomes, drowns can't spawn above Y level 58. The first thing you want to do is go into the center of the river and build up to the surface. Now go 137 blocks into the air. This can be any solid block that you want, it doesn't matter. I'm just using smooth stone to make it easy for you guys to count. Once you get up here, drop back down to the bottom and place your ladders going all the way up. You can skip this step if you have another way to get up and down from the farm. Once you get up here, place 2 blocks to one side and 1 block to the other. Now go 5 blocks out and then fill that area in to make a 4x6 rectangle. Now place 2 chests here, with 4 hoppers leading into the back of those chests. Then place 4 slabs on top of the hoppers to prevent the drowns from getting stuck. Now come on top of the slabs, place 2 temporary blocks on top of the dirt, and then finish the square with your solid block. You then want to continue this column 22 blocks higher for a total of 23. You don't have to fill in the corners, I'm just doing it because I think it looks nicer. Next, on any 2 of the 4 sides, you want to build out 7 blocks and make that 2 blocks wide. This is going to be the column that's going to push the drowns down the hole. Now coming to the end of one of those columns, place a temporary block with 2 solid blocks on top of it. You can break the temporary block and then extend these out 9 blocks in both directions. Now copy the exact same thing on the other side. Connect the corners and then fill it in to make one big square with that 2x2 hole in the middle. After you finish placing all of those blocks, come to the outside and you want to make a 3-high wall around the platform. Once you're done with the wall, drop down and on this top layer you want to place down a sign, and then a sign on that one and a sign on that one, and you want to do that for the entire square. What's going to happen is the water from above is going to flow down and be stopped by these signs while still allowing the drowns to fall through. Now that you've got all your signs placed, we need to go ahead and place down the water to actually push the drowns into the middle. So what you want to do is place a bucket in the corner, skip a block and place one, and then use that infinite water source to continue placing water along both of the longer edges. Once you're finished with that, you want to grab 2 more buckets and also place them on these blocks here. This is going to finish pushing the drowns down the hole and the water should stop right here. Now coming on top of the structure, you want to take 1 temporary block and place it right there, and then make a ring of blocks on the inside of our square. You then want to skip your solid block and do the exact same thing on the outside. Now that we're finished placing down all of those blocks, coming right here, you're going to want to build up 67 more temporary blocks. Once you get up to the top, still using your temporary blocks, you want to make a ring around to this block, which if you're wondering is 17 blocks this way and 17 blocks this way, which should make an 18 by 18 ring. Once you're finished building your ring, if you look over the edge, you should see your solid block. It's very important that you see this block here, otherwise it will cause you a lot of problems later. You now want to make a ring that is one block up and on the inside of that one that we just made. Now that you're finished placing down all of those blocks, what you want to do is take one bucket of lava and place it on every one of these blocks. Now again, make sure you're looking down at that stone brick. Now I know this seems like a lot of lava, but trust me, it's way better than the alternative of placing blocks for this entire column. Once all of your lava is done flowing, you're going to want to make yourself an infinite water source because this next part will take quite a few buckets of water. Now grab it and place your water so it flows over the lava. This is going to create a huge cobblestone column going all the way down. Once all of your water is done flowing, you can go ahead and remove your infinite water source and block off the water. If you've done this step correctly, you should now have this huge cobblestone column going all the way up. You can now go ahead and remove all of your temporary blocks as we're not going to need them anymore. If you have anything that looks like this, all you need to do is run over to it and fill it up with some blocks. It just means that you missed a bucket of lava. The next step is to come to these blocks and make a temporary roof over top of our box. Once you're finished placing all of those blocks, you want to take buckets of water and place them diagonally like this, and then you can grab out of the infinite water source that it makes. This is going to create a full layer of these water source blocks. Once you're finished placing all of that down, you can go ahead and remove the dirt blocks and the water should flow all the way down to your sides. I've done these steps in a way so you don't have to break all of this obsidian, but what you are now going to have to do is break your temporary blocks here and replace those with water as well. Don't forget to break all of these blocks down here as well. And these ones, and these ones, and then you want to place some here. Now the final step to this farm is making a large slab roof over top of the box. This is what's going to create that darkness and actually allow the drowns to spawn. Once you're done placing all of those slabs, you can go ahead and hop down to your killing area. If you come inside of the farm, you should now see a ton of drowns spawning inside of here. Now all you have to do is break these two blocks and start killing the drowns. It's only a matter of time before you kill enough drowns, get all of the loot, and get yourself one of those tridents. I'm not sure how many people are actually going to watch this outro, but if you are, make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. And with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Blazedmc out.